Live from New York. It's the show
that told you so.
Well,
it's the show that told you so.
The show who is here with the victor of First Things First Bowl 3.
Yeah.
Congratulations yet again.
Yeah.
It wasn't very close.
Yeah. None of them are. Much like LeVar Ball, never lost. We finally have a three-peat in the NFL. It's the First Things First Bowl.
Wow. Now, unfortunately, where there's sunshine, there's also a little bit of rain. On the other side is Brou and the Ravens.
You going to check?
Brou.
Brou,
are you okay? It's the first hour of First Things First.
So give him what?
Didn't know he was doing stuff. Okay.
I thought the Chiefs were washed up. Maybe I'm the one that's washed up.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
They treated me worse than the Lions did. My arm is sore. See the bruises on my face? I can't really breathe without this oxygen mask. And believe it or not, my hamstring is killing me.
Oh.
Rough day at the office, fellas. Rough day at the office.
I think we have to start the show.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know how long he's going to be.
I think we need to give him time.
Today, the Ravens stumble and sputter and are laid on their back. Lamar's hurt. Where do they go from here? And as a bonus, or the dynasty not really go away? Are we still in the midst of it? Meanwhile, Eagles undefeated. But it's ugly, and A.J. Brown is literally asking the heavens for help. Brou will weigh in on that as well. And finally, Cowboys-Packers tie. But did Jerry Jones win?
Yeah.
Alongside an upright Nick Wright, I am Kevin Wilds. Brou, are you going to be able to make it through the show today? Because Nick hasn't even really started. And I'm sure he's got a number of full screens, and there's a whole sandwich thing, I assume.
Well, you know I play hurt, Wild.
Yeah.
I play through pain.
That's true, but you're in a lot of it. Your shoe is, you got those socks with the grip on the bottom so you don't fall.
Brou, what'd you used to do for a living?
Yeah, I wrote for the New York Times at one point. And this is what's become of me.
It's unbelievable.
Ravens, what have you done to a brother?
Okay,
let's start the show.
We're starting with the 1-3 Ravens. And the First Things First Bowl Part 3. It was not a good showing. The Ravens were beat up mentally and physically, and eventually, this is true, we got some Cooper Rush snaps, and when he entered the game, Tony Romo said, we might see a spark here. That's not great.
That happened.
For one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Here's Harbaugh on the injuries and Lamar's exit.
It's tough in a game like this against a really good team on the road, but you know, you got to try to find a way to win anyway. And we never made excuses for those kind of things. And the guys who are up there are going to play well, and we've got to find ways to put our guys in the best positions to execute, play after play, and play a winning football game. You know, that'll be our challenge.
Could Lamar have come back in had it not been a three-score deficit?
I really don't have the answer to that right now.
Brou, how concerning was this loss?
Concerned? Do I look concerned? I'm not concerned in the least bit. I'm distressed. I'm distraught. I'm alarmed. My boys are in trouble.
You don't say.
The defense, I knew it was bad.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs got a boost from Xavier Worthy, but that was horrendous. They already were missing 4 starting defenders. Now they got 3 more injured in that game. They got beat up. And then the coaching, Nick, was abysmal. They're treating Derrick Henry like he's Miles Sanders. Like he's an ancillary part rather than a co-superstar.
They have the greatest thrower of the football ever. He's the highest passer rating in the history of the league. I don't know if you guys have heard.
Honestly, I do think at times Harbaugh is so invested in making Lamar, making sure, everybody knows Lamar can throw the football and is a great passer, that he forgets about Derrick Henry.
A PR battle?
It was a 4th and 1.
Yeah.
They're down 13-7 in the second quarter, 4th and 1 from your own 41, and Derrick Henry's not even in the game?
A 3rd and 1 later in the game.
Yes.
He's not in the game. And Tony Romo flipped out. Lamar takes a sack. They end up kicking a field goal.
Well, Romo said it right in that it's not just running Derrick Henry, it's the threat of running Derrick Henry that you have to account for. And, Nick, when they missed that 4th down, the Chiefs scored a touchdown. That felt like it was over at 20-7. And, they came back, scored, made it 20-10, but it felt like it was over. And then Lamar. Lamar said it a few years ago, and he was right. He can deny it, but it looks like he knows it in his mind. For the time being, the Chiefs are indeed his kryptonite. No turnovers in the first 3 games of the year, 2 in this game. And when he was sitting there before he was out of the game, on the sideline, looking at the iPad, it felt to me like I felt like I could be. It felt like it wasn't even anything on the iPad. Like it just felt like it was body like he was just frustrated. It looked like the last place he wanted to be in the world was Kansas City playing in the football game.
I totally agree with you.
It just they got a lot of work to do. Look, they're my pick. We don't change our picks. I'm riding with them till the wheels fall off, but the lug nets and all that, everything is, the reels are wobbly, Nick.
So listen, I think people incorrectly feel that what was confirmed in that game is that the Ravens' biggest concern is their defense. I disagree with that. Because what was confirmed in that game was, even if they get the defense fixed, they are not getting MVP Lamar when the chips are down. And I know it's an annual tradition. I am a hater, I'm unfair, I'm weird towards Lamar when I have no reason to be. And then either the postseason comes around or a game against Kansas City comes around, and it's like, oh, maybe the annoying guy's on to something. And nobody likes the comp. We all wince at the comp. But everybody watched that game and watched Lamar, who never throws picks. In fact, the last 30 games for Lamar. Can we show you his only multi-turnover games? Must be a coincidence. The last 30 games. And in fact, if we show you the 7 picks he has thrown in the last 25 games, which is unbelievable. The 4 regular season ones last year, roll them if we can, Dust. People are right. They're unlucky. That hits a receiver in the hands. That's not a bad throw. This hits a receiver in the hands. That's not a bad throw. These
are other teams.
Right, yeah. These are regular season last year. That looks like a catch, but it was stolen. Yeah. And this one, Bateman stops running. We can, that's.
No, but I remember.
Okay, none of those. So this is, by the way, that's every pick, okay? Now Dust show the 3 postseason and last night. None of them look like that.
Yeah.
Or last year. This.
The fumble was even worse.
Right. Or last night.
This is nuts.
It's first down. You're ahead. It's 7-3 on 1st and 10. Like that. And those 3 games, we stop rolling it. You know what it also has in common? Bad fumble.
Yep.
So you can't, at some point, as much as people hate to admit it, I wasn't wrong about this comp. I'm sorry, guys. An all-time legendary first ballot Hall of Fame MVP performer that you simply can't trust when the chips are down.
He doesn't look good in that Rockets uniform.
He doesn't look good in the Rockets uniform, and James Harden doesn't look.
Harden looks awesome.
So
big beard.
You can't. At this point, you can't. That's fair. I'm hoping, and I bet Lamar fans are hoping. I'm hoping it's more, and LeBron obviously didn't fail as much as Harden, but that it's more LeBron where he struggled against Dallas in the finals, maybe the year before against Boston, and then overcame it. That's what I'm hoping. Lamar, I hope he overcomes it in legendary fashion like LeBron did.
And listen, the defense got more banged up during the game, as you mentioned, and that might be a tipping point for them over the next month in the regular season. But
you mean as far as
this ability to falling out of the playoff race, you know what I mean, in the short term. But I have been aghast surveying today's media landscape at how many people who were fully confident. They knew the Ravens injury report going into the game.
Right.
And were fully confident that defense, without Matabuke, without Van Noy, with Xavier Worthy coming back, that they were going to be able to shut down or at least stymie the Chiefs' offense, that the only blowout possible was the other direction. Today, acting like the Ravens are the first team ever to lose a couple guys during a game to injury. And be like, well, what do you want? There's nothing we can make of that game. They're down all their guys. They weren't down offensive players. Ronnie Stanley went out. But they weren't, if they had lost that game 37-35, then we say, okay, you know what I mean? Maybe it's the injuries. That offense did not look like the Ravens' offense, and I feel like I know why.
Well, Spagnuolo really had Lamar confused. I mean, he was beyond confused. And, yeah, without Ronnie Stanley, they didn't have much defense against the pass rush, but still, Lamar was just out of sorts.
Run Derrick Henry.
Even when you're down, they had plenty of time left. They could have run Derrick Henry, and and last year, obviously, they were fantastic offensively. But it feels like they've never fully, there were plenty of games last season where they had a rhythm between the two of them, but it feels like the coaching staff has never fully kind of figured out how to use them both to the best of their ability.
It's not brain surgery.
No, but that's where I talked about Harbaugh. It's like he just wants Lamar to throw it so much.
I mean, Henry had 1,900 yards last year.
He had 8. So here's Derrick Henry this year. This has been an all-year thing. I felt like we were hot last year. At Buffalo, hey, you had an offensive explosion where you were rolling.
Great.
Cleveland, we chalked it up to, you know what, it's hard to run on the Browns. Same with the Lions. We had 23 yards, 50 yards against the Lions. And then yesterday, 8 rushes for 42 yards. It's his 3rd straight game with 50 or fewer. That hasn't happened since 2018.
And what was crazy is
I don't think it's him at all.
He had 4 for 32, Brou.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
On that opening drive, you know what I mean? And then they went away from it.
All right, Ravens hosted Texans
last thing
week.
With that defense, you would think maybe let's go ball control offense and just ground and pound. Because against Buffalo,
you don't win MVPs that way, guys.
At times against Buffalo, they scored too fast for that defense.
Yeah, but you know what's
Harbaugh hot seat.
Is the greatest.
I mean, look.
Coming around the bend.
He will get another job somewhere.
Wow,
but
we're on another job.
No, I mean, this should be the season. Because if it doesn't work, if they go out, I still feel confident they'll make the playoffs, assuming Lamar's not hurt and going to miss games. But they are, if they go out unceremoniously in the playoffs, you have to look at a coaching
And that's.
You have to.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. That's going to send us off. I got to do the Chiefs.
That's fine.
Are you excited to do the Chiefs?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. Harbaugh's future in Miami. As for the Chiefs, Xavier Worthy returned, and so did the championship vibe at Arrowhead. Mahomes goes for 270 and 4 touchdowns. Here he was after the game.
He's just so explosive. I mean, you just see it when you get the football in his hands, man. It just makes the defenses have to adjust. And when they adjust, it's like he gets so much attention on him, other guys can make plays happen. And so just having him out there, not only for his physical ability, but just the morale of the room, I thought it was huge.
Now, sometimes for these questions, we also put it on the bar so you can play along at home. So we're going to say faith restored.
It's a dumb question. Why would we put that on the bar?
Okay.
Only fools, liars, or charlatans lost faith in the greatest team with the greatest player and one of the greatest coaches in the history of the league because they played a few bad quarters. So like they didn't actually lose. Brou didn't lose faith.
I didn't lose
Correct.
faith.
Brou didn't lose faith. And Wilds isn't a fool. Now maybe a charlatan. We'll find out over the course of this segment. But to everyone else in the media, you feel a little ridiculous, don't you? You stepped on that same rake again. You were like, I'm not going to step on it next year. And then a couple shaky quarters against the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Chargers. You're like, you know what? That rake looks awful delicious. Now the Chiefs have done so much for me. And now they've done something else.
Wow.
Because I was so excited about my team being the first, only, everlasting three-peat in the NFL. And they came up short. In fact, they came up short in kind of historic fashion, embarrassing fashion, and then it, carried over to the beginning of next season. And then they made it up by making sure there was a three-peat in the NFL. Guys, the NFL's first three-peat, first things first bowl. 1, 2, and 3. I beat them to it.
I think that bowl is going to end.
I got to tell you.
Pretty much.
And here is the thing.
A banner of yourself is wild.
What do you mean?
Especially
the fact that you called the producers.
Too.
Like, what's the idea for the banner? It's like the second one, me.
I asked them actually to put Brou in the hospital bed on the bottom of it. They said that was too mean. Guys, just please, time capsule the takes. The Chargers run the AFC West now. Okay, we'll see. Not every team can go to the Meadowlands and get a win. The Chiefs can. Evidently, the Chargers can't. The only blowout available is for Baltimore. All it took was the Chiefs to get half of their receiving core back. And they look like the Chiefs again. Oh, Nick, everybody does that to the Ravens. And we crown their asses the moment they do it. Josh Allen does it to the Ravens. He's playing the position at the highest level ever.
No one's ever seen it.
Jared Goff and the Lions do it to the Ravens, and they're totally back and never miss Ben Johnson. And by the way, despite those teams scoring 41 and 38, nobody did it to the Ravens quite like the Chiefs did. Because through 3 quarters, the Chiefs had 30. They had scored on every drive except for a missed field goal, moved the ball up and down the field, and then they took their foot off the gas. Lions and Bills were in real games with the Ravens. So yes, the Chiefs took a minute to get it together after a crushing Super Bowl loss and losing Xavier Worthy, who, like I said, was the centerpiece of the Week 1 game plan, and it threw that game off. And now he's back, and now 2 more weeks till Rashee Rice gets back. So I hope you got the takes off while the getting was good, because the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, guys.
Yeah, and like Nick said, I never lost faith. I felt even if they had lost this game, they were going to make the playoffs. And I thought the Ravens would win, but I never said they weren't a legit Super Bowl contender. I never said they were in danger of missing the playoffs, even if they had lost yesterday. And they looked great. Now, again, we'll see, I guess, going forward how much of that was the Ravens defense, but they looked phenomenal. And Mahomes was great, and he's played solid all year, but he was great yesterday. Xavier Worthy made all the difference in the world. I mean, obviously he himself was the deep threat, as was Thornton again, but it opened so much up underneath. Kelsey looked like the regular Travis Kelsey all of a sudden. And not to mention Juju and Hollywood Brown getting stuff underneath. It opened up the run game. Pacheco's running people over. Like, they look great. And here's the other thing, Nick, the defense. Because, again, people thought, Baltimore was averaging 37 points a game against 3 of the top defenses, we think, in the league. Yes. And the Chiefs, similar to what they did in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago, they just shut them down. Other than that first drive,
Baltimore went down and scored.
Was great. And after that, the Chiefs, they're back. They're definitely back.
I'm beloved in Kansas City. Part of me thinks that it's a little bit odd that you can have, I think the Ravens defense is either terrible or the Chiefs are back, but it's hard to have both of those ideas living in my head at the same time.
Why? A great we're
not saying they're going to average 30 points a game.
Dusky, you showed the Ravens defense this year. It's not like an okay defensive team.
But you knew that going into the game, and you picked Baltimore.
100%. I thought that Lamar was going to be Lamar.
And you didn't think the Chiefs could score 35.
And I did not think the Chiefs could score 35 points. That being said, once I saw this, I was like, oh, I just can't. I'm not ready to say full-throatedly that like the Chiefs are totally back.
Well, but I guess
it feels a little bit to me. It's like, oh, are the Ravens like a get-right team? Like you want to play, you want to get your offense right. Like
so maybe
have a nice workout against the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, but so listen. I mean, I predicted this take. I asked you last week if the Chiefs win, but the offense doesn't hum. Are you going to say, well, yeah,
bit.
But you couldn't even score against the Ravens? And you said unequivocally, no, it's Baltimore. As long as they win, it's great. They scored 37, and they put in backups in the fourth quarter, and you want to but it. That's fine. I
just want to see. I probably want to see a little bit more.
You want to, but
just want a little bit more.
But who is the team? Like the Bills. We saw the Bills and the Ravens play, and the Bills are the best team in the conference, right? The Bills' offense looked demonstrably better than the Chiefs' offense? I don't think so. They had 25 points, 5 minutes left in that game.
That's the thing. They've played two good offensive teams, Detroit and Buffalo, and they both scored like
around
the Chiefs.
And so
it's very confusing. I'm just saying I'm not willing to say like that's right. They are back 100%.
Well, I don't think they're going to be the highest scoring team in the league the rest of the way. I'm not arguing that.
I think what I feel when we say they're back, I'm saying, Nick, they're an elite Super Bowl, like the ultra elite. Them, Philly, like a handful of teams,
Detroit,
they're
Buffalo.
right up there.
Yes.
And before this game, I think people really weren't thinking they were there.
KW, also, here's the other reason it should make sense to you. There's a seminal moment where everything.
No. No.
KW?
No.
KW?
No.
I'm taking.
We go into a lot of stuff. I'm willing to be like, oh, good point. No.
Okay, let me give you the statistical evidence, and then let me show you how much I truly believe this.
Oh, God.
Because when I walked into your office today, after I'd been gone from the show from the building for about 90 minutes, and I said, I made a rash decision. You're about to see how much I believe this take.
No, you didn't.
Can you just relax?
Oh, my God.
So the Chiefs season, was there a moment where it changed? Does it have a catchy title, like the tackle that turned the tide?
Tattoo?
I don't know. Can we show you, well, there's Patrick Mahomes, before and after, the tackle that turned the tide. 10 quarters, 2 touchdowns, 6 quarters, 5 touchdowns. What about the Chiefs' offense as a whole? Because the funk really started in the Super Bowl. Well, in 14 quarters before the tackle that turned the tide, they led for less than 20 minutes. Mahomes had 7 touchdowns and 82 passer rating. They scored less than 2 points of possession. Since the tackle that turned the tide, they've led for 64 minutes. He has a 124 rating.
Yeah.
So obviously, guys, I'm dropping a banner about the tackle that turned the tide. But that's not all I'm doing.
No, you did not.
Oh, wow.
Guys,
no way.
When I know, I know. And if people forgot last year, or a couple years ago, I knew the Chiefs were going to go back-to-back and win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Or go undefeated.
And I undefeated, it gets
20-0.
And I got a tattoo that
Yes.
says never a doubt.
Yep.
And Brou was like, oh, you can hedge that because you could be like about your wife.
Yeah.
Sure.
Exactly.
A tackle that turned the
tide
tide
this
is
one.
tough.
That turned the tide.
Wow. Now, that is...
The purple is from the stencil because if anyone's ever gotten a tattoo.
Hold on, is that a real... isn't it supposed to have saran wrap on it?
I had to take it off for the show. The tackle that
You did not get that.
I think Ramsey just scribbled that on his
I don't know. It looks really beautiful.
Try.
Ramsey can...
Try. You guys didn't believe this one. This one, you can still see the purple from the...
If you got a tattoo that says the tackle that turned... I don't want to hurt your feelings because if it's permanent, like, that actually looks cool.
You laughed at the pass heard around the world. It didn't catch on because I didn't fully commit. Never a doubt. 4 months after the Never a Doubt tattoo, Patrick Mahomes is tweeting out after the Super Bowl,
that has
never a doubt.
People say never a doubt.
Never a doubt is everywhere. You just wait till Jim Nance says, everyone's talking about the tackle that turned the tide.
It could catch on if they keep rolling.
It's a good boat name.
I told you it was happening. Now let's talk about your dumb team.
No, we're not.
Wow, we're not talking about your dumb team?
Well, we spent 24. I don't even know which way. The Eagles or the Patriots. No, because we ran out of time because we had to talk about the tackle that turned the tide. Let's catch you on,
It is.
What grade will Professor Broussard give the Cowboys, and will he be back in this emergency room bed? This made me happy. I was happy I could saw
You were
that.
worried about me.
I was
I had
very
to let
worried.
the crowd know.
Thank you. Hey, check out the podcast if you get a chance. And our YouTube channel has a bunch of exclusive content that Gianna's doing. Thank you, Gianna. You're doing a fantastic job. Right now,
She really is.
I know, that's why I said it. I
Legitimate.
wasn't being sarcastic.
She's been excellent.
Head to Tampa Bay. Eagles jumped out to a nice lead and then didn't do anything.
Such a weird team.
Jalen
bro.
Hurts throws, he threw for 0 yards. 0. Now, the good news
In the
is,
second half.
Yeah, second half. The Eagles also have 0 losses. So that's good. Here's Jalen.
I think we were in a good place at 2-2 last year. We had a lot of opportunity in front of us. I think we're in a good place now. You guys may look at the record and say, well, you know, be a hound for negativity in some regard, but, you know, regardless of where you are, when you're this early in the season, you're still searching to try and elevate and play to a standard of execution. And so, great opportunity in front of us as a team to continue to build, continue to grow.
I kind of love that. Meanwhile, A.J. Brown is tweeting the scripture, bro. If you're not welcome, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene. Shrug your shoulders and be on the way. Now, can't make fun of him. He's quoting the Bible, so everyone tread carefully.
I'm glad to see he's in his word. That's a little out of context. Okay. That was when Jesus sent the disciples out to preach the gospel. He wasn't
not about
talking
targets?
about sports or targets or whatever. What's the question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fair to be worried
Just
about
to
the
put it in
4-0 Eagles.
context. Honestly, I'm going to say no. Like, why? They're 4-0. Their last 3 wins have been against Super Bowl contenders. And I get they should have a standard and look at their game and say, we got to improve. Mm-hmm. But as far as A.J. Brown, I'm either ignoring him. He had 9 targets yesterday.
I know, but they're fake. When you look, they're like
some of them he wasn't open. Some of them he wasn't open.
Like,
They tried to force it to him. Yeah. But he got some targets. And here's my thing, Coach. As hard as it is to win games in the NFL, I don't think you can get into style points and things like that. Now, again, you need to look and say, look, guys, we really aren't playing well. Fortunately, we've been winning, but let's improve this. Let's execute this better. But I think 2 years ago when they fell into the supernatural funk, it was because they bought into, well, yeah, we're 10-1, but the wins have been ugly. They've been too close. We haven't played well. And eventually that caught up to them. Okay. The Chiefs last year, I mean, they knew they needed to play better, but they weren't buying. I don't remember a ton of press conferences.
No,
yeah, they're like,
field goal and they're
we're not playing well. Yeah. It's so tough to win that if you keep winning, you should be happy with that, even as you continue to work on your weaknesses.
Coach, can I show you this graphic that speaks to Brou? This century. Josh, I love when you do this century stuff. It makes it feel very long. 4-0 with each win by 1 score. Like you said, Brou, is last year's Chiefs lost the Super Bowl. The Jets lost the divisional round, and the Vikings lost the NFC Conference Championship. So, I don't know. This bodes well, although everything is ugly.
I don't know that I agree that bodes well.
You don't think so? Why? Because of the Jets?
No, because the Eagles want to get back to the Super Bowl. What that shows is that it's rare and only one of the teams that did it got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I don't think it bodes terribly, but I don't think it
bodes well. I like that missed Super Bowl.
Okay, yeah.
Or missed playoffs.
Yeah.
I get nervous about.
Nothing says go away quietly like posting on X.
Right.
Let me quote the Bible and talk about going away quietly, but make sure that everybody knows that I'm going away quietly. There's nothing quiet about that. So here's where my concern is. Last year, when the book came out, remember, and they did that great piece on how he used the book on the sideline for motivation. It was such a good piece, really insightful. I got that bookmarked at home. So that happened during the playoffs. So that was a long, long time into the season. Now we're week 4, and we're already at the quotes and the discontent. And to me, if they give into this, that's going to create the problem. If they start feeding this complaining, that's going to create the problem. Would everybody in Philly be happier if they lost a game, but A.J. Brown had 15 catches? Like, A.J. would be happy, but would anybody else be happy?
So hold on.
Go ahead.
Are you going to go away quietly?
No. I'm going to answer your question about would everybody else be happy, and the answer is maybe. So here's the thing. First of all, because what's going on in Philadelphia right now, this isn't concern trolling. This is historically unprecedented. Like Jalen Hurts just had a game that we haven't seen since Jake Delhomme, where you threw that much in the second half, you don't complete a pass. If we show you their first half, second half this week, Dust, what you see is that should be impossible. And then when you realize that it's back-to-back games like this, just in reverse order.
Yes.
Like Eagles, play a normal game challenge. Impossible. So here is.
And they hung 30 out.
No. So here is where I will today, because I complimented the Eagles last week. Wilds didn't take it as this when I said they're the new Chiefs. As far as even when you win, you get nitpicked, the close, whatever. Take a page out of the Chiefs 2 years ago when they were the defending champions playbook and practice. Use part of the games as practice, even if maybe it costs you a game. But work on this stuff not just to satiate A.J. Brown, but also to get better at it.
How about we work? So, I think that's smart, but let's work on that against some of the lesser teams, not Tampa Bay.
In practice.
Because that doesn't make A.J. Brown happy, and I understand it should. Coach, listen, I understand this is not the platonic ideal for a wide receiver to help you go win a Super Bowl, but it's the wide receiver you got, and he's one of the greatest in the history of your franchise as far as the All-Pros, the prolificness, all of it. And if you are trying to get through another 15, 17 games together, you need to do it. And that Chiefs team that you guys gave me a hard time on, that I said was practicing, was the one that lost games in the middle of the year, that did have to go on the road. And then in the playoffs, knew everything they could do and play every different type of way that they needed to play. If you're Philly, because they are a great team, and I still have some concerns about the defense, but DeJean keeps getting better and better. So you have a little regular season wiggle room. And what you can't, in my opinion, afford is the Week 7 Jay Glazer Fox NFL Sunday report of A.J. Brown is requesting a trade.
To where?
Maybe back to Tennessee.
No, not back to Tennessee to his old coach.
No,
he wants
to
exactly
back to go.
But do you understand?
No, I agree. That's to me like Coach. I was gonna say he was doing this last year and they won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
To me, where it becomes really problematic is if he does request a trade. That's when it really becomes a fact.
But there's all sorts of, I don't know if you're up on the Eagles cap situation, but I thought it was very punitive to trade A.J. Brown.
I bet it is.
Oh, okay.
I don't think A.J. Brown is that concerned about how punitive it would be for Howie Roseman. I'm not even saying they necessarily would trade him. I'm saying once a player requests a trade.
So do you think mid-season, if they're undefeated, that A.J. Brown would say, I would rather go to a team that's probably not going to make the playoffs, but I'm going to get that many more catches?
He told us that.
He tweeted that.
Coach, he literally 3 days after the Super Bowl put on Instagram, I'm paraphrasing, I didn't ask the producers to pull it, and I'm not unfairly paraphrasing. I thought winning a Super Bowl would make me happy. Turns out I was wrong. What makes me happy is seeing a D-back demoralized from me crushing him. Yeah. He told us what makes him go, and he is trying to. And this is where I give A.J. Brown, I try to give him grace.
They've got extra first-round draft picks. He said they were willing to do something big.
He's trying. He's right now he's trying to be a good teamate. Honestly, he's
out of all the Bible verses,
I'm not right. I'm not throwing a tantrum. I'm not mouthing off to reporters. But he's that frustrated, and they're undefeated. That's the other thing. How does this work out if Baker doesn't throw that pick? You know what I mean? If one of these games had they lost, is the only reason it's not a real tipping point is because, yes, we're winning. Like, they're not going to go undefeated.
Last year when they threw all those passes, we didn't have to debate, what it would be like if they were undefeated, because they weren't. They were 2-2. Yeah. It didn't work out that
all right,
great.
More on the Eagles shortly. We've got to get to Bruce's grade here. Cowboys-Packers ends in a tie. Dak has 4 total touchdowns, 319 yards. George Pickens has the best day as a Cowboy. Here's Dak postgame.
Trying to wrap my head around a tie. 1 second left on the clock. Felt funny. It was a great game, great competition. That's why you got to love Sundays. Great job by them. Great job by us competing. Wish we would have came out to win.
Brou is just quietly underneath Dak's soundbite trying to figure out what previous grades he had given.
He's trying to calculate their GPA on the fly.
Well, yeah, I think I gave him a C+ for the loss to the Eagles.
You definitely gave him a B early in the year.
For a week, I gave him a B.
You gave him a B in one of their against the Giants.
I gave him a B in the Eagles,
and
then I gave him a C in the loss.
Yes,
in the lower loss. So I grade the Cowboys on a curve.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
There was Coach. Everyone thought maybe except you, because I know Schottenheimer's your boy, but everybody else thought they were going to get clobbered. Mm-hmm. Right? Micah's coming in there. You don't have CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I thought it was going to be over, especially with the way the Packers started. Going up 13-0, Jordan Love throws the bomb. The Cowboys showed some heart. They showed some fight. They showed some toughness. Dak was phenomenal.
Yeah.
My man Javonte Williams was great. The running game is
your guy
back.
George Pickens.
George Pickens did his thing. He dropped another easy one, but he was fantastic. And look, the defense came up with the big fumble recovery, and then the special teams. Yeah. So you got to add all three. The defense wasn't great, but they did force the fumble. That's all I'm saying on Jordan Love. And then the special teams points. So I gave them. It's a tie.
Yeah.
But I gave them an A-.
Wow.
The minus is for, I can't give you an A in a tie, anything but a win. But I thought they were strong.
Wow.
When's the last time they got an A?
This might be the first.
I feel like this is.
This might be a first.
Yeah.
But I respect to the Cowboys for what they did yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You go into that game, and I know Green Bay had hopes of going undefeated that were dashed last week against the Browns. That was unfortunate. And then, they had Micah Parsons.
Well, he did save the game.
No, he did. that sack that he had chasing Dak down the back.
It saved the game, Coach.
That was worth being the highest paid non-quarterback.
Well, it was worth. It was
just that.
It's
alone.
why they didn't lose the game.
No, 40 points. The Micah factor,
yes,
they're right there.
Dak was going to run for a touchdown. No, what they would have had is 44 and won the game.
And with CeeDee Lamb didn't. All right, so they didn't have their best receiver. Their best player was in Green Bay because he got traded there. And I am so impressed with Dak, and I feel like I've been hard on Dak in the sense that I think he's been a good quarterback, but never saw him as being the highest paid quarterback and being that elite sort of force multiplier. But it's hard to argue that what he's done this season hasn't been elite and hasn't been a force multiplier. And he has put them on their back and willed them to levels that I didn't think they were going to be able to show this early on, especially with the struggles that they've had defensively. But he's been really, really impressive.
Yeah, if they had one difference-making defensive player, they'd be 3-1.
Yeah,
listen, Coach.
Or what's Green Bay 2-1-1?
Green Bay's 2-1-1.
Okay,
one of those games, they allowed essentially 3 points on defense. Like I was surprised that Dallas was able to keep it close because I was surprised that they were able to move the ball the way they were without CeeDee Lamb. And while I disagree wholeheartedly with basically everything Coach has said about Micah, I agree with him wholeheartedly about. I think, and I know Brou, you mentioned the other day about Dak's numbers hadn't been great this year. I thought Dak's been playing awesome, and finally he had the stats of an awesome game. And I have been really impressed by Schottenheimer. I have to I have to be fair. They are a prolific offensive team, and they were able to do it in this game without one of their better offensive linemen, without their best receiver, with a running back that we all thought was just, kind of replacement level. And Dak's been great, and the offense has been interesting. And I also thought they managed the game better than Green Bay did, which I know we'll talk about Green Bay's side of it later.
The end was a mess.
Yeah, and so, listen, I can't get over the Micah trade when I watch this team score the way they score, because I do feel like that if they just had the 20th best defense in football, that they could be a real problem this year. I do.
The team he's on gave up 40 points, too.
And the team he's on had been dominant in the 3 games prior defensively. They had one bad defensive game.
Don't you think if they had Micah, I think they'd be a legit
they would have
in the NFC?
Micah. Yeah, I understand.
Green Bay is that.
Head across the pond where the Steelers took care of Carson Wentz and the Vikings. Rodgers had exactly 200 yards, and the Steelers defense held strong at the end of just a debacle. Here's the standings, Brou. Check this out. AFC North standings. The Steelers are 3-1, but they have the second best odds. Then it's the Bengals, who play tonight. They've got the third best odds. Then it's the 1-3 Ravens, who actually have the best odds to win the AFC North by a lot for all the gamblers out there. Now, does this give you hope, or are you concerned that the division now belongs to the Steelers?
I think it all depends on Lamar. Like, does he miss? Is this a hamstring injury where he misses a game or two? They need to beat Houston and the Rams, or at least one of them.
Yeah.
And so, if not really both, if he misses, say, a game or two and they lose it, now that record's starting to really get poor. If he plays next weekend and mentally he's fine, obviously it was a tough weekend for him. If he's fine, then I think they'll still win the division. They're only 2 games back, and they play the Steelers twice. So they still control their own destiny. And now the schedule does get lighter.
I think it's the 8th easiest schedule, according to Bill Barnwell, from here on.
Yeah,
I think the Steelers should make the playoffs. So I do think at this point, looking at the AFC, they're
you think the Steelers are going to win the division?
No, I think Baltimore's still going to win.
Yeah, I do too. Like their defense has been decimated, right? There's 7 out of 11 starters didn't play, so that's almost the whole team. And it's as bad as it looked. Any team's going to look pretty bad if you're losing 7 out of your 11 starters.
It's crazy they were favored.
And they've got Lamar, and it wasn't his best game this past weekend, but I don't think that by any stretch this is going to continue the way it's gone.
You're not worried about the devastating hamstring?
I'm not worried about that. I'm not really worried about Derrick Henry's fumbles. I would imagine that those 2 guys at any point could switch back to what we've seen, and they could run away with the division. And at any point, Aaron and Pittsburgh could go pumpkin.
Yeah.
Oh, listen. So
their defense has picked up a little.
I fully expect Lamar to instantly look like Lamar again, because he's looked like Lamar every moment since he came back, since he signed the new contract. He's always looked like Lamar. He has been absolutely unbelievable, except for in very specific high-leverage moments when he has looked exactly like I expect Lamar Jackson to look. Like you tweeted, this team is unrecognizable and recognizable. Yeah. And I said, it's totally recognizable to me. It's exactly what I expect. So I don't think there's going to be lingering effects for Lamar. I think that, assuming he's playing, I bet he'll play really well against Houston, even though Houston's a great defense.
He's not going to miss any time with this hamstring?
I don't think so.
Weird then.
It was a weird injury that none of us saw him, we didn't know when it happened, and none of the trainers helped him get over.
What was the score when he had that?
17. They were down
17, was it?
They were down 17. When Cooper Rush came back in, it was 30-13, and when Tony Romo said they might be getting a spark from Cooper Rush.
There was a play that people are now kind of pointing to. I don't know who tracks him down. Chanel, maybe? Where he's running to the first down marker, where he just doesn't look like Lamar.
No,
he looks like 75,
right,
but he's not. He's
so
not.
Maybe it was
limping, but he just doesn't look like he has the burst.
And Harbaugh yesterday after the game, Harbaugh was like, when he was asked could he have gone back in, he was like, I don't know. Harbaugh today said no, he couldn't have gone back in. Now, we didn't hear from Lamar because the Ravens have a policy of if you leave a game with injury, you're not allowed to do interviews.
You're not allowed. It's like a league policy.
No, it's the team's policy is if you leave a game with an injury, you're not allowed to do interviews.
You're not. So whose policy? You get what happens?
I don't know. Again, I'm just telling you.
Lamar is one of the faces of the league.
Is it not allowed, or you don't have to?
It's the Ravens team policy that if the player leaves with injury.
So if Lamar said, "Excuse me, I understand it is a team rule, but I'm Lamar Jackson, multiple-time MVP, facing my arch rival in a huge game, and we're 1-3. I need to address the media," and I came out in the third quarter.
I think the Ravens.
They would have said no.
I think the Ravens, whoever's Big Dom for the Ravens, tackles him. It's like you're not allowed.
Come on.
But can I just answer the question quickly? Because I know we're going to talk more Ravens and Chiefs in a minute. We are still talking about the Ravens as if they don't have the worst defense in the league. And when you have the worst defense in the league, you can lose any game you play.
True.
So I am not worried that Lamar is not going to play well against Houston or the Rams or after the bye. I'm not worried about that. I am worried, if I were a Ravens fan, that a Houston team that had, I know they ended up blowing out the Titans. They had 6 points late into that game.
Yeah.
But Nick, are you saying that when the Ravens have all their players on defense, they're still the worst defense?
What I'm saying is
because
that
whenever we talk about Kansas City when they have their injured receivers and they can't, throw for more than 150 yards, it's always, well, as soon as they get those guys back.
Right, but they're not getting Matabuke back. Matabuke's done for the year.
That's one.
Their secondary, I had questions about beforehand. I'm
trying to just put it in context.
They will get better when they get
as they get healthy. Do you still feel like
I don't think they will be. I don't think they will be 32nd. But I watched the Ravens defense week 1 when it was fully healthy allow 41. And so I watched the Ravens defense for the first 10 weeks of last year be awful and then flip a switch seemingly.
Yeah.
And
which
so
I think it'll get better this year.
I think the Steelers are not as good as a 3-1 record, but I still think Baltimore needs to get to 10 wins to win the division.
Yeah. Previous 2 times the Ravens were 1-3, 05 and 2015, they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Got a car to sell but no time to waste? Hop on to Carvana.com to get a real offer for your car in seconds. All you have to do is enter your license plate, answer a few quick questions, and if you accept the offer, Carvana will pay you as soon as you hand the keys over. They even offer same-day pickup in many cities. Save your time, score some cash, and sell your car the convenient way to Carvana. Pickup times vary. Fees may apply.
Live from New York, it's a show that says, all these blocked kicks. Hey, what's going on?
That's a good one.
I really am saying that. You're absolutely right. It's ridiculous. I've never seen so many blocked kicks in my life.
Hey, what's going on? Every time.
Yeah.
You are absolutely
People
right.
line up like maybe it'll get blocked, and it does get blocked. Hey, what's going on? Second hour of First Things First.
That segment works, Ryan.
I know that. Today, Cowboys-Packers tie. But
I hate this.
But did Jerry Jones
How is he proven
actually win?
This guy.
He's got a point.
No, he doesn't.
Yo, 100%. He wouldn't have had a point if it was 40-0.
Okay.
But 40-40 tie, he loved it. Meanwhile, Eagles win. Jalen throws for 0 yards in the second half. I'm being tested.
You are, bro. And I got to give you credit.
I'll take Jalen if you.
No, but I mean 0
if
yards.
You're about to dump him.
No, it's just tough.
Wilds is at a Patriot game a week ago, sees the scoreboard. It says they have -1 passing yards through a half, and it wasn't their worst passing half.
I'm like A.J. Brown, but
days.
it's about positive tweets about. I'm like, I need to get involved.
The Mountain doesn't know what to do with Jalen. No, that's tears, buddy. There's no players record.
Oh, of course there is.
I have a feeling we're going to see on both.
I mean, the mountain's not kind to hamstring injuries. I'll tell you that much.
You can't climb.
You can't climb.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Patrick Mahomes is back. See? 270 yards, 4 touchdowns. He becomes the youngest and the fastest to 250 touchdowns, and he extends his personal record to 6-1 against Lamar. Here's Andy Reid on the offense.
It did today. So the speed was was good. And Pat's got trust. He's developing. I mentioned that he's developing more trust in 5 and more trust in 80. And so now you add one into the mix who he's already got time with, game time. I think that's important. So I think that just kind of brought it together, and they fed off of each other's success there.
I got to get my program to figure out who he's exactly talking about there. Are the Chiefs officially back?
No. And they won't be officially back till Rasheed gets back. But what they are is once again the scariest team in the league. Because they are the team that, of everyone that we look at as a contender right now, we're like, hey, do they have a defense that can step up against the best players, the best quarterbacks in the league? Yes.
That's true.
And do they have a quarterback who is an absolute killer? Yes. And unlike some of these other teams at the moment, are they dealing with catastrophic injury, you know what I mean, across, various parts of their roster? Not anymore. And the entirety, I really, really hope the entirety of the media enjoyed the last few weeks, where they got to cosplay like we were in a world where this wasn't inevitable, where it was really going to be the Chargers were the team to beat. How's that working out? They had a nice 3-week reign, and now all of a sudden they look a lot like the Chargers again. And where the Ravens were 1-2, but beyond reproach, because they'd accomplished so much of nothing for a decade. And now they're in disarray. And now what has happened is, because of the slow start, the Chiefs are staring at what I probably should have known going into the year, Coach, was their ultimate football destiny, which is getting the opportunity, because they won't be the 1 seed, to be the team that gets to walk into Highmark Stadium in the final game ever played in that stadium.
Oh, that would be
on the road against Buffalo, to close out that stadium by snatching the Bills' chain for the only thing that franchise has, which is the only team to make 4 straight Super Bowls. Well, not if the Chiefs make it this year, and not if that's how that stadium closes. So I watched that game, and I was like, oh, Patrick has developed a rapport with Thornton and now has Xavier. Oh, Travis Kelce doesn't look quite so old when the defense isn't playing this in the, within 10 yards of everyone. Oh, the 7th-round running back that they got, he's getting a little more worked in. And, oh, the offensive line that they helped remake over the offseason can finally give someone some time. So, no, they're not fully back, but they are once again, and everybody deep down knows it, the real favorites. So, yeah, that's what they are, bro.
Look, I never thought they were gone. I thought, they always were going to make the playoffs, always be a Super Bowl contender. When I think of them being back, Coach, I think they are back to that top tier of elite contenders. The Philadelphias, if you want to put Detroit in there. I would have put Baltimore in there a few weeks ago, but they're right there. I don't think, Nick, the only way I do think they would be considered the team to beat in the AFC, just because they've done it so many times and they've had Buffalo's number in the playoffs. The Chargers have not yet done anything in the postseason. But the only thing that would make me say they're the team to beat or the favorite in the whole league is if I just feel like, you know what, it's so hard to repeat. Only a handful of teams have done it. Yeah, you take them because Philly's probably not repeating.
Philly just seems like they're upset at their wins. You know what I mean?
It's really A.J. Brown obviously starting stuff. But the bottom line, Coach, is the Chiefs look great. We'll find out, I guess, over the next few weeks how much of that, if any of it, was just Baltimore's defense.
Well, some part of it has to be, right?
Not the Ravens scoring
Nick made
13.
a good point that Buffalo and Detroit, which are great offenses, essentially scored the same amount of points as the Chiefs. Okay. So, but we'll find if the Chiefs go out the next couple of weeks and don't score, score 20 points or whatever, then you might say, okay, that was just Baltimore's defense. But I think with Xavier Worthy back, he opened so much up, Coach, that they are back to being elite.
So they beat the Giants with Russell Wilson playing maybe his last game ever as a starter. Okay, and their defense is what's the Giants' defense? What were they ranking in that?
What are they ranked? I don't know. They looked pretty good this week.
Yesterday.
Coach, you think the Giants' defense is great? You think the Giants' defense is great?
I'm just talking about the statistics that you've been quoting.
Well, then what are they?
I think they're like 32nd, 31st. Where?
They're definitely neither of those.
That's right, because Baltimore's 32nd. Yeah. Okay, so this week with 7 out of 11 guys injured for the Baltimore Ravens.
That's not true, Coach. You keep saying that. They went into the game with 3 starters.
Four were out.
And then guys got hurt during the game.
Roquan got hurt.
Roquan, Wiggins.
So
and,
the total number was 7, right?
By the end of the game, yes.
Okay, so the 7.
One in the fourth, like Wiggins were hurt in the fourth.
Okay, so I guess we can't count that. So 6 out of the 11 were hurt. So it's the Walking Dead. And so they moved the ball against them. But over the last year or so, we've watched this offense struggle mightily. And in 2 weeks against 2 defenses that are trying to find their footing and haven't really found it, they've had some level of success. I don't know if I'd necessarily be dropping banners like you've been, because you lit up a couple defenses.
They lit up the team you picked to win the Super Bowl. They lit up the team Brou picked to win the Super Bowl.
The team that I win the Super Bowl is all in getting MRIs today.
No. But hold on. That's all on defense, right? The Ravens' offense was whole, and the Chiefs shut them down, which nobody's been able to do. Correct? Like, not the Bills are an A1 contender. Ravens put 40 on them. The Browns have a great defense. The Ravens scored 40 on them. The Lions are an A1 contender. The Ravens scored 30 on them.
I think where this game got out of hand is that the Chiefs were up by 10 going into halftime, get the ball back to start the second half, go up by 17, which effectively takes Derrick Henry out of the game. And that's, to me, where the whole game got lopsided. What did Derrick have, 8 carries?
Hold on. But except...
I mean, it was so uncharacteristic Baltimore offensive approach.
Then the Ravens had the ball in the red zone with a chance to get it right back to 10, and the Chiefs stopped them again and held them to 14. Like, this is because Wildes is a skeptic, I can feel it. The question I would ask is this. Who in the AFC do you trust more than them, and why?
Well, we're 4 games in.
Right.
Buffalo's undefeated.
So is your answer Buffalo? The Buffalo people.
Buffalo's had. I mean, look, they've won, but the last 2 weeks have been tough games for them.
Buffalo's the only team Buffalo has played that has won a game is Baltimore. Right? They beat the winless Jets, the winless Dolphins, the winless Saints, and the Dolphins and Saints games were 1-possession games in the fourth quarter. They were tied. And I think Buffalo and Kansas City are the 2 best teams in the league. Or in the conference. But you're right, Coach, it's early, which is why probably the team that wins the conference every year you should believe in. But if you don't, who is the team in the AFC that we trust?
The jury is still out. I think it's fair for Coach to say that this game turned because the Chiefs got one of their 2 missing guys back, Xavier Worthy, and all of a sudden everything looks different. And if Baltimore had 6 guys out, I think it's fair to say, that Baltimore team probably looks different.
And this game got out of hand at the start of the second half. Otherwise, it would have been dramatically losing and I don't necessarily agree with Baltimore's approach to take Derrick Henry out of the game. Essentially,
foolish.
I didn't think that was a very good idea, but that's the way that they went, because I imagine they felt like if we don't score a lot quickly, we can't match Kansas City's score.
They were without 4. Brou told me. I thought it was 3. It's 4. 4 starters before the game. When you said the Chiefs might get blown out. Now, because after the Chiefs were in firm control, Roquan Smith and Marlon Humphrey was getting dusted, go out of the game. That's what flipped it. That's not what happened. The Chiefs were in control of that game
they 100%
from Jump Street.
Were, but I'm not going all in and saying the Chiefs are 100% back to the old Chiefs.
This argument's made me hungry. And I thought Brou was going to have a sandwich.
Brou,
but instead, Brou, you ordered Kansas City barbecue that you thought, bring it out, please, that you thought you were going to get served, made and feed you.
That looks delicious.
Our friends at Jack Stack. Oh, my goodness. We have burnt ends. We have pulled pork. We have a rack of ribs. So while you guys try to make
that sauce, that's pretty good.
While you guys try to make sense of, shockingly, Lamar Jackson coming up short against the Chiefs again, I'm going to eat some of this pulled pork. Go ahead, KW.
All right. As for Lamar, an interception, a fumble, 147 yards, 1 healthy hamstring. At around 5 o'clock, A low rumble started to rise throughout the country, like an Ibiza DJ priming the crowd for a dance floor drop. Then, Lamar slams his helmet, and the sports world sung out in unison. Lamar Jackson. Hey, what's going on? What is going on? Brou, do you have an answer?
Okay, well, the question, how is it? What's going on with
It's,
Lamar?
hey,
or how?
what's going on?
It's how much the loss is on Lamar.
And also, hey, what's going on with Lamar?
I will answer them both. I'm going to break down and blame Pie. I'm going to say 40% on their horrible defense, which was, Coach Wright, banged up. 30% on the coaching. Because Coach, like I said, even when they were down 10 or so, you still could have used Derrick Henry. And in the second quarter, 3 minutes left, when they are down 13-7, and they're a team that rarely goes for it on fourth down compared to other teams, they go for it from their own 41 and don't have Derrick Henry in the game. Even if you're not giving him the football, he's a decoy. He makes the defense, react differently. So I thought the coaching was bad. And then I put 30% on Lamar. And, Coach, I do think the Chiefs are in his head. Now, I'm just watching from afar, psychoanalyzing, looking at the history of the two teams.
I think that's a fair take, Brou. I don't think you need to couch it.
Yeah, to me, he didn't look himself. I thought Spagnuolo had him shook with his blitzing. And, Lamar just didn't – he looked out of sorts. And I thought even during the game when he was sitting on the sidelines just looking at his iPad between series, it looked like he was just trying to almost go in a shell and just get away from people. He never looked himself. And so.
But he looked the way he always looks when he plays
the
Chiefs.
And look, this leads me to this. I think Lamar, this is going to be, in my opinion, the toughest thing he's going to have to do in sports. Tougher than proving Bill Polian, the Hall of Fame executive who said he should be a receiver, wrong. Tougher than getting to the point, because we remember seeing Lamar in his first few games in preseason, I think. He looked terrible. Tougher than getting to the point where he's become an elite passer. He is going to have to get the Chiefs, some other big games if you want, but mainly the Chiefs out of his head. And I don't know what he's going to, I've compared him to LeBron, and LeBron wasn't failing year after year, but the Dallas series obviously rocked LeBron's world in 2011, and he overcame it in legendary fashion. That's what Lamar has to do, because to me, it does look let's say they got to win 10 of their next 13 games within the back of their mind, can we beat Buffalo and the Chiefs? Particularly the Chiefs, Nick, I think if they get it going, and let's say they're starting to look good a month from now, they have to hope that Buffalo will take out the Chiefs and that they don't meet in the playoffs.
That's why, Coach, before you came on, I said, if you're a Ravens fan, the more concerning part of this game is Lamar and not the defense, because obviously if the defense stays dead last, you're drawing dead. But let's say defense gets healthy, they have a second half turnaround the way it is. You still now have another big piece of evidence that your MVP, and this is the frustration for me, this is the narrative arc for 3 years about the Ravens is, to some extent, Lamar Jackson, is he the greatest passer of all time? Well, here are the numbers. Lamar Jackson, the MVP 2 years ago and got snubbed last year. Lamar Jackson, the most unique individual force in the league. They lose a game. Why did they let Lamar Jackson have the ball so much? Should have given it to the other players every single time. When the reality is, this game flipped, Coach, when they had a lead and Lamar, who has not made this pass all year, it's first down, it's 7-3, you're at midfield, and he just gives it away. Now, this is a great play by Chenal, admittedly, but he hasn't made, in his last 25 games, he has 7 picks. 4 of them were off his receiver's hands in the regular season. And then 3 giveaways. The team meeting in the AFC title game, The early one in the divisional round game, and then this one. And in all those games, he also had a fumble where it's like, what the hell just happened there? Like,
So people have been mad at me talking about Lamar as a passer for a long time, where I said, if the whole world knows you have to pass, and that's the situation you're in, he's not that great in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But yesterday, it didn't have to get to that point, I don't think. And what surprised me the most about their approach is, why not stay big? Why not run the ball consistently? If your defense is injured or struggling, one of the best things you can do is keep them off the field by having long, sustained drives. And then if you're going to use Lamar, he ends up running the ball a bunch as a quarterback strength, but have some quarterback-driven runs with Derrick Henry and build off of that so that you're doing what he does best. And then to top it all off, they go even further away from the run when they get down, and that means they've got no chance. And all those Kansas City pressures, they just heat up. Yeah. And the offensive line is under so much more pressure because all they're doing is pass blocking, and the whole world knows that's what they got to do.
Coach, when you watch a game through obviously like a coaching lens, I think we watch the game through oftentimes like a player's lens. I don't know why necessarily, but I'm like, this guy could have done better. This guy could have done better. This guy's doing great. How much of this, when you look at it, is like, man, this is the Ravens coaching staff is putting Lamar in a really bad spot. And I know you don't like to do this stuff, but there's been some like Harbaugh hot seat stuff coming out from this game. If we can't get over the hump, we're not getting rid of Lamar Jackson, so what is the other lever to pull?
Yep. Well, if you want to keep pushing that Lamar's the greatest passer that there's ever been, and that's definitely come out from Baltimore and come out in a very strong way, and his numbers are extremely impressive, but his part of that is because of all the other things he does and the way you have to defend it. It does tend to give you more 8-man boxes, less split safety, kind of cleans things up for you. And then he's able to move around the way that he is, and guys can get open, and he extends plays, those types of things. But you should lean into what he does best, especially when your defense is struggling so much, because it just continues to spiral over and over again, where you have to pass a bunch, and it's not what you do great.
I've said, Coach, it looks to me like Harbaugh, and you've heard some of his comments. He said Lamar's like the best
greatest passer ever.
It looks like he's so intent on proving to the world that Lamar is this phenomenal passer, which, okay, he is, but that he goes away from giving it to Derrick. Like, to me, Derrick Henry should get it 18 times at least a game, especially when your defense is this bad. Keep the defense off the field.
Or just have him on the field.
Yes, because when he's not on the field, they're passing. When he's on there,
the idea that he's not on the field on a 4th and 1.
Well, and then wasn't on the field in 3rd and 1 later. Can I get Dust real quick before we go? Can we show the MVPs versus other MVPs? Because we showed this graphic last week.
Now it's updated.
And now it's updated. And here's the thing, and nobody wants to hear what I'm about to say here. Matt Ryan versus Tom Brady. Brian Sipe versus Terry Bradshaw. Boomer Esiason versus Dan Marino. And Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. That graphic makes perfect sense. There is a massive, massive gap between all of the guys on the left and all of the guys on the right. It is exactly what it should be. It is not because one guy had way better teams. It's not because one guy had way better coaches. It's not because one guy got lucky. It's because Matt Ryan was an MVP. Tom Brady was way better than him. Brian Sipe, I'm not trying to pick on him. He won a weird MVP. Terry Bradshaw's way better than him. Boomer Esiason almost won an MVP one year, or did win an MVP obviously one year. Dan Marino's way better than him. Lamar Jackson is an amazing player. Patrick Mahomes is demonstrably much better than him in every aspect of winning football games and playing quarterback. He just is.
Well, here's where I would disagree. I think the difference, and Mahomes is better than Lamar, but the difference in Mahomes and Lamar, and this is significant, but it's playoffs and big games. It's like Ryan Sight, they don't match up to the other three guys in any like regular season. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like at all. Regular season, Lamar, like typical 15 of the 17 games, he's great. Big games and playoffs. That's where Mahomes leaves him.
And I guess my only pushback to be, I know we got to go, is that 1-6 is only one playoff game. So it's been, you know what I mean? Lamar in the aggregate in general is unbelievable in the regular season, except for when he looks across the field and sees that guy. And in those games, he doesn't play his best. And everyone can yell at me and say it's small sample size and it's dumb analysis or whatever it is.
7 games is.
It's half a season.
Yeah.
It's not a small sample size anymore, guys.
Did Jerry Jones?
Come on.
He's got to be happy today.
He's happy.
They tied.
Did he take a win from the top?
Happy today.
Walls pass me a rib.
Well, you know first things first. It's that show where they huddle up before every question. Not this segment. No huddle. Jordan Love had 3 touchdowns, but a costly fumble that gave the Cowboys some momentum turned the game. Micah didn't wreck the game, but maybe he saved it in what went down as a sack in overtime. Dak was shocked that was registered as a sack. Here's a somewhat
There's Dak running for the winning touchdown. Oh, hawk down.
What a reach.
Here's Micah Parsons. Take a listen.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pissed off, you know. I'm very disappointed on just overall how we performed. You know, I even told Jordan to the side, you know, thank you for having our back today, you know. That's why it's so pivotal that, you know, you play complementary football, because today Jordan played like the player he was, and we let him down. We didn't live up to the expectations on defense.
Okay. Brou, did we crown the Packers too early?
I mean, look, the Packers are my pick to get to the Super Bowl in the NFC. I feel good about that pick. But anyone who was like, it's over, they're head and shoulders above everybody else in the NFC, yeah, that's too soon. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like they're not a Super Bowl contender. Like,
oh, I agree with you.
I think anybody saying, oh, are they really a legit contender? That's crazy. And I get it. The last 2 games haven't been great. You can't name an elite team in the league, or any team for that matter, that has not looked bad at times. Tampa beat 3 teams that are 1-8. I don't know what they did this weekend, the record now, but then lost to the only winning team they played. The Chiefs obviously had their moments of looking bad. The Chargers just lost to the winless Giants. Obviously, the Ravens, the Bills, the Saints gave them all they wanted for most of that game. And the week before, Miami did the same. So I just think this was not good. And I said last week, Coach, I kind of think this is good for them because I get it. The Cleveland game should have been the wake-up call. But I think this team is they're young. They've really been feeling themselves. We got this superstar in Micah. We're going to roll through the league. I think yesterday they went into Dallas thinking they're going to roll over. We're about to tear them up. Then all of a sudden, especially they go up 13-0, you relax. Then you find you're in a game. And the other teams got momentum, and now you got to get it back going. And so, no, I still think they're fine as far as going forward.
Yeah, they got that same wake-up scenario that my kids do. So they set like 17 alarms. So yes, Cleveland with like 1 wake-up call, and then we'll go to Dallas, we'll get another, hit the snooze button. I mean, a few weeks ago, weren't they going undefeated? I think they were going undefeated.
They needed
offensive line.
That's why they needed an L.
Look, Micah's mad. Know who's mad, Micah? Everybody in Green Bay. They brought you there. You're the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL.
Excellent, until this game.
I mean, look, 40 points. It's a smidge above a shutout. It's right there. And then the sack he had, I mean, that was dynamic.
That was saving.
That was a huge play, though. It's overtime. He's going to score a touchdown.
I mean, that alone justifies a trade. Okay. Just that. I mean, and CeeDee Lamb had a great. Oh,
he didn't play. Hold on. We're into the Cowboys in a second. Okay. Hold on. Can I say what I actually think is the bigger story? Listen, I believe the Packers defense is going to be excellent. I think that they played I think they played 3 A-level games defensively, and then played a really poor game yesterday. I think what Coach talks to us a lot about, which is walking in thinking this is going to be easy. You know, there's no CeeDee Lamb. There's and you would have hoped that wouldn't have happened because the Browns lost. But Packers defense didn't leave that Browns game thinking we played poorly. They're like, we played great. Like, we're awesome. So that's not what concerns me for the Packers. What concerns me for the Packers is the end of that game. Because one of two things was going on. Or kind of both things. Matt LaFleur, if people didn't watch the very end of the game, let me just kind of set it up. New overtime rules, both teams get the ball no matter what. But same as before, if one team kicks a field goal, though, you get a chance to match. But also, at the end of 10 minutes, game's over, no matter what. Cowboys didn't have timeouts. The Packers got the ball down there quick, relatively. And then maybe in part because, understandably, LaFleur was so terrified of Aubrey.
Yeah.
That, if we leave them 20 seconds, if we leave them 20 seconds in midfield, you know what I mean? We're in trouble.
Turpin's a great returner.
But the thing is this. You score a touchdown, and Brandon Aubrey's out of it. The game is over with a touchdown. He didn't seem to call plays that fully trusted Jordan Love definitely is not going to turn this ball over. You know what I mean? That even though Jordan Love was playing really well, and then that, to me, was justified by the Packers butchering the end. They were incredibly lucky that the Cowboys home clock operator forgot he was the Cowboys home clock operator and had a real true trigger, because it felt like they were a quarter of a second.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
When does that play actually?
When the ball hits
when the ball touches the ground. When the ball hits the ground.
Like
and it was, and so
I would have been like,
but they almost got procedural penalty on that, which would have been 10-second runoff and gone. Love didn't realize that because he kept it in bounds, and because even when he kept it in bounds, the guy was slow getting up and getting the ball over, that I know we had 2 plays called, but now I just have to spike it. Or if I can't spike it, you know what I mean? They almost blew it. Yep. They almost really blew it, and that's the part that concerns me was they're going to be in these close, high-leverage spots. Yeah. LaFleur didn't seem to fully trust him, and then Love didn't seem to fully deal with it well, even though he played he scored 40 points, played a really good game. But that part worries me a little bit.
As much as I like J-Lo, there's some things, turnovers. He could have had an interception yesterday that got called back. So,
All right, Cowboys side of things. Dak easily handled this ballyhooed Packers defense. He threw for almost 320, had 3 TDs, ran one in. And here was Jerry Jones on Dak and Micah. Take a listen.
It's very simple. Dak was indispensable in my mind. And so, yes. And Micah wasn't.
How bad did you feel?
So, I mean, it's just numbers. It's that easy. And that's not personal.
Ouch. Coach, your reaction?
I felt personal.
Yeah.
That was very personal. He's taking some serious bows there. Hey, it's easy. The guy I kept was indispensable. The other guy, not so much. Now, I don't know if I would be taking such a strong bow at this point because there's so much football left, and I think Mike is going to have a significant impact on Green Bay, and he's going to play great. I know I give him a hard time, but that's going to work out well for Green Bay, and we don't know how well it's going to work out for Dallas because we won't know until we see what draft picks they got. Granted, it was a tie, and I'm sure Jerry wanted to win, but Jerry could not have thought going into this game that they were going to hang 40 on this defense, and Micah was barely going to have any contribution to the game. But I don't know if I would be too smug right now until this all plays out.
Yeah, I don't think he was vindicated. Like you said, it was a great showing because we all thought they were going to get blown away. Only way he's vindicated in this trade is if Micah does not win a Super Bowl with the Pack, during his prime, like these next 5 years or whatever, doesn't win a Super Bowl in Green Bay, and those draft picks from the trade become great players and help Dallas become, I'll just say, a legitimate Super Bowl contender where maybe they get to the championship game, maybe they get to the Super Bowl. That's the only way it's vindicated to me.
Listen, this might seem unfair, but it's just how I truly feel. Every game the Cowboys offense looks great and they don't win, I feel like this trade gets worse. Every game like this where it's – because, by the way, they didn't trade Micah for 2 firsts and an offensive player. Right. They traded Micah for 2 firsts and Kenny Clark, a defensive player. Like the impact of that trade on this season, it has nothing to do with the offense at all. And the offense is humming and Dak is playing great. And so I look at it as the exact opposite. The Cowboys through 4 games are much better offensively than I anticipated, which, if I were a Cowboys fan, would make this trade that much harder to swallow. Where I understand Philly is undefeated and the Super Bowl champs and looks great. I don't know if looks great's the right word, but they played a really tough schedule and they're undefeated. But other than that, if you're the Cowboys and you're like, man, with this offense, do we think we could stare down the Rams or the Bucs in a playoff game? Like, you know what I mean? Offense for offense, yes, but not with the defense the way it is.
But also, when Jerry made that trade, and granted I'm a Brian Schottenheimer fan, I'm sure he had some reservations or concerns as to how well this was going to go with a rookie head coach who's also calling the offense.
You believed him.
Yeah, so I'm sure that played into it as well. And now that they're doing as well as they are, in retrospect, it may not look as attractive. But
head to the Meadowlands. The Chargers temporarily blinded by Jackson Dart's aura as the rookie wins his debut, and the Giants' defense finally looked frisky, Coach. Herbert threw 2 picks, barely got over 200 yards. Nick, I'll start with you. Did we crown the Chargers too early?
You got a mouse in your pocket? I didn't crown them ever. the royal we, maybe. I mean, folks that just were convinced that a down-to-the-wire win against the Broncos, a good, solid, all-around win against the Chiefs in Brazil, and beating the Raiders, which the Raiders are having some struggles, even though Ashton Genty, good game, still believe, was enough to make the Chargers not the Chargers anymore. So crazy to me. And I don't know what Brou's Ballot's going to look like. I don't know what Parkins' peak is going to look like. I do know this. Justin Herbert, those were an awesome first 2 games, buddy. I know that. And we can, this is what it is. So we're an awesome first 2 games. Like, really great first 2 games, Justin. I think they were impressive. Since then, that's not very good. And what was bizarre to me, Coach, was the thing I text you, which is their rookie running back, Omarion Hampton, had 12 carries for 130 yards in a game that was nip and tuck against a rookie quarterback. It's Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman. But they, you know what I mean? Listen, when you have Peyton Manning 2.0, I guess you just got to throw the ball around the field. And now all of a sudden they're banged up, and they gave a game away they shouldn't, and the huge lead on the Chiefs is down to a game. That's concerning to me if I'm them.
I don't think we crowned them as a contender too early. I think they're legit. Obviously, yesterday was a bad game. I think Harbaugh is great. And so I think we look what he's done in the NFL. I don't think they're going to be the same old Chargers that under Brandon Staley as they will be under Harbaugh. But it seems like some coaches have trouble getting that balance. Because last year they ran to the point where it's like, man, they should let Herbert throw a little more. And now this year they're throwing it so much, and you say, well, they get Herbert's a little more of a run game. So
getting beat up.
I don't understand why these coaches can't get more of a balance there.
Well, remember last year, the year before they got there, Herbert had good production, but he had a bunch of turnovers.
Yep.
Last year, he only had the 3 turnovers during the regular season, and they did control things pretty dramatically. And I imagine they thought that, similar to Josh Allen, he had gotten over that turnover hump. And now we're 4 games into it. He's got 3 turnovers already this season, which matches his total last year. And as we've talked about, as you go through this first part of the season, there's who you want to be, and then there's the reality of who you have to be. And the good coaches figure out who you have to be. And especially with the Chargers situation, they've lost 2 offensive tackles. Yeah. So to put him back there, dropping back to pass that many times with a really good running back, a really good young running back, and putting all that pressure on backup offensive tackles, I think that maybe they got a little bit lost in the game plan and where Herbert's progression was. I would imagine they'll recalibrate and we'll see something different.
Giants pressured Herbert on 48% of his drops. Giants defense coach back, Abdul Carter.
They got a little shot in the arm with the new quarterback. Hopefully this can be a trend.
Defense been great last 2 weeks. Held that Chiefs offense to 22.
Coming up tomorrow, the coldest and slipperiest segment in all of sports. It's Mahomes Mountain. Quick request.
Yeah.
And I can provide them if you like.
Sure.
Let's take a look at Drake May's stats compared to Josh Allen and compared to just the top quarterbacks?
Drake May.
Just give it a look.
yesterday.
Yeah.
But I'm not out here putting my chest out. You know why?
Yeah, because you picked against them.
It's against the Panthers. No, I did that strategically. Quick update on tonight's game. Brou does have the Jets over the Dolphins for his upset alert. The Jets, remember, are just a few plays away from being 2-1. We'll review that game tomorrow. Also tomorrow, Brou's Ballot. Early question, Brou. Is there a chance that Patrick Mahomes, after his first 4 touchdown performance
since November of 2023.
Yes.
I've got it. Just go ahead.
I think it's October.
It's October 22nd, I believe.
Yeah, not November.
Oh, that's Danny's birthday.
You're trying to make it feel closer than it is. October.
Yeah, sorry.
Is there a chance he could show up on your MVP ballot?
There is. He is.
We are so bad.
And I honestly don't know yet, but he's in consideration.
Because Herbert,
all 5 didn't have special games. Herbert, Josh Allen was okay. Hurts, Baker, and who was the 5th?
J-Lo.
Jalen. Or no, I said Jalen Hurts. Baker Mayfield.
Jordan Love,
Goff?
was he still on there?
Goff? No, it wasn't.
No way to
Goff.
tell.
But
Lamar,
it
who
wasn't.
knows?
It was. But none of the 5 had outstanding games.
If we're putting 2-2 teams out in there.
Well,
listen, the
at
problem.
this point, he has a chance. I'm not guaranteeing he will, but he's
talking about
definitely.
Drake May right now.
No, I'll tell you that.
No,
He is
because
not.
he.
You want to see the record? They're both teams.
I'm supposed to
two.
get excited because they clobbered the Panthers?
Why are we excited? Because they clobbered
because the Ravens are legit.
No,
You
they're
hear that,
not.
Ravens?
Don't
You
be a
are
stat.
legit.
The Ravens
Believe.
A couple things.
There's not one stat out there.
Believe.
Hold on. I think there are plenty of stats that say beating the Ravens is at least a touch more impressive than beating the Panthers. And Daniel Jones was the other person.
Daniel Jones.
But I think what hurts Drake May is one of the games can be directly attributed to his mistakes. One of their losses.
What one?
The one where he turned over the ball twice.
We had 5 turnovers.
Yeah,
He didn't
that's
even have
40% of more first things first.
He didn't have half the turnovers. Live from New York, it's the Schutz wishing Kevin Durant a happy 37th birthday and, as a bonus, welcoming Drake May to the MVP conversation. Wow. Leading the league in completion percentage. That's good for a 2-2 team. If we're putting 2-2 teams in the quarterbacks in the MVP conversation, I want my bite at the apple. That's all I'm saying.
Caleb Williams?
You make a decent argument.
He's in. Is he complete? Is he leading the league in
completion percentage is probably of all the major quarterback stats the least important. It's
really completing passes?
The percentage. Yeah.
Tell that to AJ Brown.
Who led it last year?
Last year, who led the league in completion percentage?
I think it was Gino.
Oh, yeah. Over 70%. Gino or Sam
We
Darnold.
got to talk Gino.
No, we don't.
That's where ruined your boy Jinty's great game.
This weekend went perfectly for me, except for Gino's throwing those picks. That was good for you.
That was great for me.
That was good for Parco.
That's one thing I really enjoyed.
You a Gino guy? You're
I picked the Raiders to make the playoffs.
Gino.
He's also kind of a
The
Caleb
only
guy.
reason he hasn't ripped Purdy today is because Gino did.
I didn't rip Purdy because we don't have time to do it because instead we have to talk about First Things First Bowl.
Today.
Part 3.
Episode of Stock Up, Stock Down with Danny Parkins. Is Caleb stock up, even though he completed less than 60% of his passes? Meanwhile, is it panic time for the bird teams? These are my Super Bowl pick. Eagles and Ravens.
What about Falcons and Seahawks?
Those are birds. Talk about the Falcons.
Cardinals.
Not all the bird teams.
Oh, okay.
We should just do an all bird segment. But right now, Chiefs roll. Xavier Worthy is back. Arrowhead rocking. The defense is elite. Mahomes is excellent. Here he is after the game.
When you're playing one of the better teams in the NFL, you know you're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive. And I know their record doesn't show, but everybody knows that's the Baltimore Ravens, and they've had so much success these last few years. And so we had a good game plan going in, and we knew we had to raise our game. I thought we executed at a high level in crucial situations, and that's what changes the tide of the game.
I was on the fence on this game, Parkins, and then you were like, no, go with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Did the Chiefs put the league on notice, and do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Not accepted. You should have known better.
I should have known better.
Yeah.
I worked in Kansas City for so long.
Yeah.
I picked him in that Super Bowl last year against the Eagles.
Yeah.
I picked him to be in the last
but
five Super
and then
Bowls.
2 games, two bad games. You fickle media all of a sudden think.
Right. He got hot off the Eagles pick. He did the whole heel turn. Remember he was like naming streets in
And that
Kansas
one
City?
worked for me.
Yeah.
The Eagles covered, and then I abandoned my Kansas City roots.
Yeah.
And it backfired spectacularly.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, you're beloved in Kansas City.
Of course.
Right?
Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Well, I would say we are beloved in Kansas City, but I just wanted to make sure that I still am. So I put together a quick apology of sorts.
Okay.
That if Christina, if we could just
let's
just get out in front of this, please, and just roll the apology, please. When can we expect the Chiefs' offense to be good? If the Chiefs lose this game, we will be talking about the Chiefs as a wild card team or missing the playoffs.
The Chiefs will be fine. They are just not fine now. I just simply do not think the Chiefs can keep up in this game. It's that simple.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you see, that's about it.
Oh, wow.
Except for the Super Bowl.
Oh,
because I still like.
Yeah,
the
that's
Bills.
all right.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
Come
So
on.
you're not picking against the
rest
what
of
does
the
it say?
season?
Did he
Rest
ever,
of the season, he will never.
Basically, what I think.
picked against them. It was a mistake.
and you're
I'm
not
sorry.
picking against the Chiefs for the rest of the year?
Until they play
Really?
the Bills.
Oh my gosh. So you overcorrected. Dude.
So they're gonna. I agree with
No,
that.
I'm not saying that they're going to run the table.
I
I'm
think-
saying they got an official Parkins pick, a bet, saying they can't win a shootout, doubting them. It was a dumb thing to say.
Yeah, it not only was it a dumb thing to say, he just
say.
means holistically he's not going to doubt the team anymore. And it was a dumb, you could
4
lose
weeks.
individual games. That's fine. It was a dumb thing to say. Here's the thing, Wilds.
Oh, no.
Because it's an unacceptable opinion, and you all had it. Doubting Mahomes,
my gosh.
only truly
We're
unacceptable opinion. No, you did this to me last Friday. We all walked in.
wasn't
Gianna's, or Thursday. Gianna had question of the day. What quarterback would you rather have? And you said picking Mahomes over Lamar was, quote, an unacceptable opinion. You saw
He's
we
the
can
best,
put up
as the best passer rating in NFL history.
Yeah, exactly.
Not my fault.
How's that working out for you?
I feel really dumb.
How's it exactly?
I do.
Amazingly, the only person who isn't covered in shame on this is the guy who came out on a stretcher. Because he's the only one who all last week was like, listen, Mahomes is the best. You can't put anything past him. Even if they lose, I'm not writing them off at all. You had them as the wild card. They're now a game out of first. You had the Chiefs having no chance of blowing out the Ravens.
If the Chiefs, if that team did not have on purple jerseys, and it was, this is a fair question. It's the reason I'm not like demanding. Well, I did say I want Drake May in the MVP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm like, you know what? We beat the Panthers. It's not a big deal. We put up a ton of points on the Panthers at home. It's fine. It's a nice little stat.
They made
Drake May.
Lamar
Where are you at
tap
on the
out,
Ravens
bro.
now?
Here's where I'm at on the Ravens. I don't want to be ridiculous, but Danny, I want to pull you back over a little bit from your apology. The Ravens have the worst defense in the league. The Ravens had 6 guys out of the game. So you had the worst defense in the league that was missing guys.
So hold on. Let me
so
ask
I'm not
you
going to
this.
throw the parade
But
that the
you
Chiefs
did
beat
it
up
for
on the
Detroit.
worst.
You did it for Detroit. A week ago, with those same guys that they went into this game missing.
No, Roquan Smith.
No,
was
the
not
same
missing.
guys they went
Okay,
into
but
the
then
game.
we got more people got
KW,
missing.
the game, by the time those guys went out, the Chiefs were up 3 scores. They were in firm control.
Roquan was early.
Roquan was early. Marlon Humphrey was after they were up 3 scores.
And I'm just not ready to have a parade. It was a good performance.
Hold on, nobody's asking you to have a parade. What I am,
That'll come later.
what I am asking for.
That's the only.
Yeah.
We're not gonna parade.
No, because the idea that going into the game, you and others were adamant. You knew the injuries. You said they can't blow them out. You knew knew the situation. You said the only blowout could go in the other direction.
It's true.
All of that. and so if the Chiefs beating the Ravens 37-20 is not impressive, then the Bills have done nothing impressive all year.
On the board.
Okay, the Lions have done nothing impressive all year.
That was a get-right game.
No, correct?
Yeah, I mean, people are beating up on the Ravens. That's all I'm saying. People are beating up on the Ravens.
So
And Mahomes was the latest guy to beat up on the Ravens.
The question is not.
None of them were blowouts like this.
And it's not a Mahomes question, it's a Chiefs question. That's a Mahomes banner.
Yeah.
What no one had done, and I'll go back to you, was shut the Ravens offense down. Yeah. Nobody had done that. They were scoring 40 or 35 on everybody. That has to count for something if we're talking about, can this team be the best team in the conference?
Yeah, the Chiefs offense scoring more than 35 for the first time since week 3 of 2023. I didn't see it coming against anybody. Against Dallas, against Carolina.
Are you surprised it came against the team that's been giving up 30 points every game this year?
Well, we'll see.
It's like that has to be.
Sure, and we'll see what happens when they play Jacksonville, who's got 13 takeaways so far this year and has had so we'll see if they can start stacking it. My point is, doubting that they could do it was dumb. That's where I am pointing
in
two
fairness
thumbs
to
at
you, and I mean, you knew he was coming back, but Xavier Worthy made all the difference in the world.
He was spectacular, right? He had a 37-yard catch, a 28-yard catch, and a 35-yard run.
Mm-hmm. And even when he opened up,
like
the underneath for Kelsey and all that.
But I guess I don't know why it was surprising. Like, this is what's frustrating for me, and then we move on. It's not surprising for me. I did think the Ravens were massively overrated.
Okay.
I did think that adding Worthy would open things up entirely. I did think that the Chiefs, if need be, could win a shootout, but wouldn't need to win a shootout because I did not expect Lamar to play well when he saw he was up against Mahomes. So that game played out kind of how I thought it could happen.
You weren't expecting that type of...
No, I honestly thought it was more likely to be like 23-17 Chiefs. But I thought if they needed to score, they could. What is utterly infuriating for me is that I tried to present all of that last week. It was dismissed out of hand as the team that could get blown out is Kansas City. We are now sitting here, and now it's, well, how impressive is it?
I think it's fair to ask how impressive it was, where we had 2 games, one at 4 o'clock, one at 8 o'clock. The Cowboys went up against the Packers defense, which I believe had the best defense in the entire league, and put up 40. And we're like, oh, wow, the Cowboys offense is the real deal. At 4 o'clock, the Chiefs offense was going up against the worst defense, who had given up 30 points in each one of their games, and we're like, wow, the Chiefs did a good job. But I'm not putting those in the same category. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I agree.
Against the best defense and the worst, they both scored 30 plus. I don't understand why that's a challenging concept.
You got Mahomes, you got Worthy back. I think that makes it more impressive. You just trust those guys.
I'm saying I'm just not ready to say they're all the way back. Because you played the worst defense.
I don't know that they're going to...
I don't know that's not a controversial opinion.
Yeah, I don't know that they're going to win 14 games this year. I just think where I am pointing a thumb at myself is I did not think they had that in them yet. I thought it was going to take more time, worse opponent, Rice coming back. It was going to develop later in the year. And they already did it.
They are the worst opponent. That's my argument. No, Statistically, they are the worst opponent.
KW, and then we can move on. They were the exact same spot in rankings defensively going into the game. And you thought that was not going to happen.
That's true.
So it is the exact Calvin Ball situation I was worried about, which is you saw all the defensive rankings, which is one of the reasons I picked the Chiefs. You were like, nope, doesn't matter. This Chiefs offense can't do that against anyone.
I thought the Ravens the offense would be better.
Correct, but you also didn't think the Chiefs could score 30 on anybody. They did, and then you're like, what does that even matter? Like, okay, that's fine.
I'm saying it does matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all. I'm just not saying I'm ready to, it's unacceptable to doubt that
it's unacceptable to say that it can't happen, which is what was said. That's all I'm saying. You said it was an unacceptable opinion to say you'd rather have Mahomes than Lamar in that game. That's why I put unacceptable opinion on there. That is what happened.
The banner says it must be true.
I also want to apologize. The Ravens aren't dead last in total yards. They're 31st. So I apologize.
Good correction.
On the other end of the spectrum.
They didn't let the Browns.
Harbaugh and the Ravens fall to 1-3, buying a dreadful game from Lamar. Take a listen.
We've got to get to work and get ready to play a football game and play well and try to find a way to win a game and get on track. I believe we're going to be a good football team. We're just not a good enough football team yet.
How concerned are you with 1-3 start?
I'm concerned, but I'm not overwhelmed by it. You know, we played the 3 losses are against probably 3 of the top teams in the league for sure. You know, and that's just the hand we've been dealt.
So they do, according to Bill Barnwell, have the 8th easiest schedule from here on out, Brou. Here's those defensive stats that we've mentioned. Now, it does include the Chiefs, so it's not just like they've always been bad. Is it panic time?
No, it's not panic time. You're obviously very concerned. It would be panic time if we get news today, tomorrow, whatever, that Lamar is out for the next 2 weeks. And then they have a bye, so, you know, he missed the next 2 games. Because they could very easily and likely would be 1-5.
Really? Because Cooper Rush gives them a spark, according to Tony Romo.
That was quite a comment. That was quite a comment.
I thought Romo did a pretty good job until that. Yeah, because they could, Houston, you know, you could lose that, and obviously the Rams. Then I would be like, okay, this is very concerning. But assuming Lamar is back next week and Lamar, I think they'll be fine. I think they can still win that. They should still win that division. I believe they'll win the division. My concern is they got to win 10, and I think they will, but you have to win 10 of the next 13 games at least. I imagine in your mind, like, can we beat the big boys? Like, what's at the end of the rainbow for us? Can we beat Buffalo? Can we beat Kansas City? I would imagine, certainly me who picked them to get to the Super Bowl, am hoping that once they get rolling, they make the playoffs, Buffalo beats Kansas City. Yeah. And then they don't have to play the Chiefs in the playoffs. You know, so that's my only concern. But no, I think I'm not panicked at all.
So I'm not either because of the path. We talked about this last week, the division, not having full confidence in the Steelers, Jake Browning instead of Joe Burrow. I think they still have a pretty clear path to winning the AFC North, but I also would just put the qualifier on all of this. Same thing. Yeah. Assuming Lamar Jackson is healthy. If Lamar isn't healthy, then I don't think that they can just beat every lesser team on their schedule. But to your point about the defense, it might just be awful. Because what happened last year to Detroit was all of the injuries happened on one side of the ball. And it was like, they weren't going to be the best defense in the NFL, but they probably were going to be like middle of the pack. And then the injuries just overwhelmed it. Now, they've allowed 37 in 3 of their 4 games. That historically trends to a 4, 5, 6-win team. We can show what that would show you historically, but also just the names. Madubuike out for the season. Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Kyle Van Noy, 2 more defensive linemen.
How long are those guys out?
How long are they out? Because I think the Ravens are better than those teams on the board defensively. They got better over the course of last year defensively, I think. But if this defense is like last year's Lions defense, well, then all bets are off.
But last year's Lions, the Ravens have already lost more games than last year's Lions lost.
I'm saying their defensive ranking.
No, I understand. I guess I look at the Ravens, the first 2 losses being the defense, it's weird actually. Loss one was the Derrick Henry fumble that opened the floodgates because they had allowed, like the Ravens had been against the Bills and the Lions. The Ravens defense did a fine job through 3 quarters. That's the other part of it to me that is important. And I don't know if we can throw the stats up there or not, but like the Chiefs are the only team to boat race them through 3 quarters. The Bills and Lions. So the first game to me was the Derrick Henry fumble, tipped ball, a little unlucky, whatever. Third game, the Lions, in my opinion, are flatly better. Fourth game, and here's the numbers through 3 quarters just to show you guys, like the Lions put up yards, but nobody was, scoring at will the way Kansas City was.
And they were up on the line. Was it?
Right. No, they were certainly up on Buffalo, and the Lions game was close until Lions got a 4th down. The Ravens didn't. Yesterday's game to me was about Lamar pressing early when they had control. They drive down and score. The Chiefs then stall in the red zone. It's 7-3 Baltimore. They have the ball, driving again, and then go up 2 scores, and then who knows how it feels. Lamar throws it away. But this is just another example.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
I didn't know we were.
The Ravens, shout out to them, man. I mean, it's one of the greatest hypothetical teams of all time, the Ravens the last 7 years. Every year I got to hear about the talent. That's the other thing that kills me about this conversation now. I understand that now the defense is super banged up. It was not super banged up 2 weeks ago when they were terrible. And all offseason, I heard about Jair Alexander and Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith and all of it. And once again, it's a team that is an idea more than it is anything else.
Oddly, Danny, and you mentioned this last week, they are still minus 200 in the AFC North.
They have better Super Bowl odds than Kansas City right now.
Really?
And better odds to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Than the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because of the path.
Vegas can't quit this team. They have better odds to win the conference and win the Super Bowl.
And
where's the smart money, though, going?
Well, my money is not going there. And right after this weekend,
where's
my
the
money's
sharp
very
money?
smart.
That's what I meant, the sharp money.
Yeah, I'll check.
Where are the whales? Your buddy Nacho.
Shout out for Nacho.
Shout out to Nacho.
Nacho hanging in Ibiza, firing soccer games all day.
Time now for a special edition of Stock Up, Stock Down, where we figure out whose stock is up and whose stock is down.
We've never been invited a part of this.
I'm excited. Whose stock is up? Oh, it's Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, you see it? It says it right there. His stock is way up. And so the researcher here for the OT, Troy, been working with him now for over a year. He's named Troy after Aikman, lifelong Cowboy fan.
Is that true?
100% true.
Wow.
He backs this take up, said it was not crazy.
Oh, no.
That's the best game I've ever seen Dak Prescott play.
I'm fine with that.
You got to watch the games. He has had better numbers. He's had a 5-touchdown game. He's had a 500-yard game or 400-yard game. Like he's had, I think it was a 500-yard. He's had unbelievable statistical games.
That was incredible.
But no CeeDee Lamb, your center and your right guard out, playing against a defense that held Detroit to 13 points, putting up 40 when we all thought they were going to get blown. No one gave them an ounce of a chance, less than the Chiefs against the Ravens. And they tied that game and scored 40 points. He was remarkable in that game. Way up.
Do you think that's the best game of his career?
I think
so.
You had to watch.
Oddly, I've always thought the best game of his career was a different game against the Packers in that building that they didn't win. The divisional round playoff game his rookie year, when he went toe for toe, throw for throw with Aaron Rodgers, and it took some insane Rodgers plays. And then the Mason Crosby kind of curving in
just
field goal at the end.
Without CeeDee Lamb.
And against the defense, by the way, you know, I was worried when you said he's named after Troy, and you're like, I thought you were going to say he's better than Troy Aikman. Like, please don't say he's better than Troy Aikman.
No.
But
best game of Dak's career.
I hadn't thought about that. I don't think that's crazy. I'd have to like really like dive in, but I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah.
What?
Go ahead, Will.
I just wouldn't go public with it. No, I'm just saying I wouldn't go.
I mean, maybe he's
like,
done the homework. I haven't done the homework yet.
No, I just wouldn't be like, and it was a tie.
Yeah.
I
got a
that's
hole
fair.
in your back pocket.
That's fair.
I knew you were going to.
A lot of
He was amazing.
the year he threw, what was he on pace for almost 6,000 yards one year and then he got hurt. A lot of those games with the huge yards were like
Garbage
comebacks.
time.
They were getting
this
crushed
was blow
and he
for
came
blow
back.
with a lot of pressure.
The
game
Packers scored on every possession of the second half, and Dak just went toe for toe with them. It was incredible.
I also like that game.
And
that
George
opening game
Pickens is no,
against Brady.
you know, no chump.
Oh yeah.
No
lost.
question. Pickens
Still
was
had
great
to
too.
go.
That wasn't good. That
Well, a tie and a loss. It's the best game. Next up, whose stock is down?
This one's very painful for me, but I got to admit, Justin Herbert's stock. I said just figured out a way to win, and that was a weird game.
This guy's just trying to throw
tipped
big
interception
sixes.
to a 350-pounder. Lad McConkey falls down on the other interception. Like, I don't think this is on him, but, you know.
It's not on him. There's no one in this area.
His receiver fell down. He would have been there if he didn't fall down.
Doesn't look like Peyton Manning.
And yeah, he didn't look like Peyton Manning. But no Rashawn Slater, no Mekhi Becton. Then Joe Alt gets hurt in that game. He was under more pressure in that game than he was in the Texans playoff game where he threw the 4 picks. But the passer rating going down week over week as the pressure mounts, as the offensive line injuries mount, not a great moment in time for Justin Herbert stock.
Yeah, or
not a great moment in time.
Or for the LA Chargers.
Well,
who
that too.
A week ago,
that too.
We're talking about them being 4-0 because God knows anyone can go to the Meadowlands and win. and the Chiefs staring at the Ravens.
To make this a Chiefs thing?
I'm just saying.
Stop. Oh, my God.
R.I.P. Chargers, AFC West favorites.
They're now co-favorites.
You got 3 weeks out of it. You got 3 weeks out of it.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed it, Colin Cowherd, Danny Parkins. I hope you guys loved it.
One more. We've got.
We got one more. That's a good graphic.
Yes.
Or a good banner. Oh, I had to get it in. It doesn't matter that it was only 200 yards. There was an interception, that they got 3 turnovers in the first half and got 6 points out of it. You play to win the game.
That's right.
Caleb Williams. These are the games that for my entire life the Bears have lost. He got the ball, 6 minutes left, needed a touchdown.
What is his passer rating?
Passer rating.
In the right
and that is
direction?
in the second half, by the way, because the early it was, the Ben Johnson scripted plays.
Oh, timeout. This is second half.
Yeah, he's getting better as the game goes on. Okay. He's leading fourth quarter comebacks. Caleb Williams.
Because the first
figuring out a way to win.
The passer rating was carried by that opening script when there was 10 for 10.
Exactly. Yeah, I should have clarified that off the top. My apologies. But making plays at the end of a game to win on the road when you need a touchdown down late, that absolutely matters. And now, playoff chances are alive for the Bears heading into the bye, and then they get Washington on Monday Night Football.
You left out one of the biggest factors in that game.
Oh, God, dog it. We almost got through the whole.
No! 3 picks.
Gino's having a ball security problem. I agree.
Sure is.
Here is what I think is
undisputably
true. No Caleb Banner.
Okay.
It wouldn't have mattered if Caleb had the second half that Jalen Hurts had yesterday. If the Bears won, they were going to feel like they could finally take a deep sigh of relief.
Agreed.
Get to 2-2, you know what I mean? Have an extra week to prepare for the Commanders in what is, going to be
I don't like that early bye.
I don't love the early bye is what it means for late in the year.
Yeah.
I think it's good for them as far as their chances of beating the Commanders in 2 weeks, which matters a lot.
Ben Johnson doing his trick plays. Settle down.
Oh, you love him.
Not the fake fumble one. Jalen Hurts. 9 targets for A.J. Brown, several of them out of bounds. I don't know if they should count next.
Welcome back. First things first, what a treat with Coach Mangini and Greg Jennings in on a Monday. We go to Tampa where the Eagles, well, they're still undefeated, but because there's always some drama, there were no completions in the second half, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had 4 catches for just 36 yards. But, of course, Jalen Hurts wants to keep the focus on, the winning. Take a listen.
Honestly, from a complimentary standpoint, you couldn't ask for more in the first half. We just have to put it together as a team, and that's something that you can learn from, and that's something that will be fixed. But, we're finding ways to win, and that's what it comes down to in the end.
And then A.J. Brown decided, the win wasn't enough. I'm going to quote the Bible and go on Twitter, and if you're not welcome, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene, shrug your shoulders, and be on your way. So I have very strong feelings, at least about that A.J. Brown portion of it that I'll get to in a minute. But Greg, concern or just about 4-0 here?
Look, I get it. They're 4-0.
They are 4-0. They're the champs.
Coach, I get it from your perspective, too. Wins are important. That's what matters for coaches. Wins matter for quarterbacks. Give me the ball, please. There is concern because when inside the locker room, guys are starting to speak out. And yes, A.J. Brown is the one that we hear from the most. But we're not going to hear from Devontae Smith. We're not going to hear from Saquon. We're not going to hear from these other guys because that's not really their personality. That's not what they do. But that doesn't mean they don't feel the same way. They don't feel like things need to improve. Just because a team is 4-0 and they haven't suffered a loss, a lot of times we as fans are like, well, just deal with it. You're winning until you get that first loss. Coach, you understand this. And then all of a sudden, the things that we were trying to as players to bring up and that A.J. Brown is bringing up right now and trying to bring attention to, now all of a sudden, well, they do have problems. We saw this in week 3. We saw this in week 2. We saw this here. We saw this. Now it's like, oh, now you want to pay attention to me. But when I'm saying it when we're winning, it's like, be quiet. We're winning. Just allow it to take its course. And at some point, I understand a guy like A.J. Brown because I played the position. I understand my value. I see and I know the impact that I can have, and it sounds so selfish, but he's a part of one of the reasons why we believe this team has an opportunity to do something special again this year. But if this is what they're going to look like, we're going to continue to say, do we have concerns? Because he's not included, Devontae Smith's not included, their passing game is not included.
Well, first of all, his quote says you quietly go away, and nothing says quietly go away like posting it on Twitter.
I knew you.
So that's not quietly go away. And the issue here is last year when he pulled out his book, that was at least during the playoffs, and now he's pulling out not his book, but this is his other way of saying, hey, I'm not happy with my situation, but we're at week 4. And last year, when they started out the season, they threw the ball a lot through the first 4 games, and they were 2-2.
Right.
So would you rather be 4-0? Would you rather be 2-2? And I understand that he has value, he has tremendous value, and he's a great player. But at the end of the day, it's more important to win games than to make one person happy. And I'm not saying, I don't think anybody in that building is looking at this and saying, we don't have a problem here. You know, it's not like A.J. Brown is like, hey, guess what? The secret, there's a problem here. Like, they know it's there, but they're still winning, and they can work on it while they're winning.
So can I try to inject a little bit of nuance into this, which normally it's like, it's not the greatest sports television. It's like, I'd have the strongest take ever. Like, objectively, the passing game is not where it needs to be. And if you gave A.J. Brown all that money and you traded a first-round pick for him and you gave Devontae Smith a $75 million extension and you used a high pick on him, like objectively, you would like them, and we could show the numbers. I assume the plan was for other than the second half against the Rams, for them to be involved. Like, we're 4 games into the season, and other than 2 quarters against the Rams, they have 7 first downs. Like, that is just, like, objectively a problem.
So would you objectively rather they be 2-2 and
No.
get a lot more catches?
No, I wouldn't. Because I think it's also objectively true that A.J. Brown tweet is insane. Like, that is a crazy thing to do after a win. You're like, I know people can perceive that as selfish, because it is selfish. Well, it is a selfish thing to do.
Well, sometimes you have to, like, I didn't like what he did with the book because I didn't. It was it was something that I felt like could cause and draw attention to him with the team that we identified as, man, this team has something special. Even though it doesn't look the way that he wanted it to look, they were still clicking on all cylinders. Now it's like you're asking, in the playoffs, I understand the idea of succumbing to one goal, one ego. Like, this is what we're doing. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll swallow my pride. You're asking me to do that all over again? Oh, wait, so do exactly hold on. I understand it equates to winning, but what about why I have chosen to play this sport? Why you chose to sign me to that contract?
Hey, give me the damn ball. It's a tale as old as time.
Like, please, not even all the time. Just, can I get it sometimes? And when you do throw it to me, can it actually be an opportunity, not a target? Not throwing it out of bounds over my head and then it's labeled as a target, so it looks like you're throwing in my direction. I don't want to hear that. I'm not saying that I would do this, but I would definitely say something.
If he sent that tweet out after a win, imagine if they had lost. Let's go to Dallas. We saw Micah Parsons make his long-awaited, 4 weeks, return to the Cowboys, and we all thought it was going to be a Packers blowout. It was a 40-40 tie. Here's Micah Parsons on how a tie felt in his return.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pissed off, I'm very disappointed on just overall how we performed. I even told Jordan to the side, thank you for having our back today. That's why it's so pivotal that, you play complementary football, because today Jordan played like the player he was, and we let him down. We didn't live up to the expectations on defense.
All right, Coach, how disappointing from a Packers perspective is that tie?
Yeah, it's got to be really disappointing.
All right, I'll stop asking dumb questions. My bad.
It's got to be incredibly disappointing. Micah was traded there, and everything. Weren't they 2 weeks ago? They were going undefeated. Now they've lost to the Browns, and now they've tied Dallas. And I get it. CeeDee Lamb was so dynamic. Oh, that's right. CeeDee Lamb didn't play yesterday. Oh, so their best player is out, but Micah plays for Green Bay. He was their best defensive player, but they did hold him to just over a shutout. Oh no, it was 40 points. So I'd say, he's disappointed. I would imagine everybody else in Green Bay is disappointed too. He did sign the highest contract for a non-quarterback in the history of the NFL, but that one sack he got, that was pivotal.
He is dripping with sarcasm on a Monday. That was your Super Bowl pick. 40 points. That's your Super Bowl pick. Yeah, go ahead.
Look, it was very disappointing. I'm not going to be as sarcastic. It was disappointing. Look, if a tie is it's the most unsatisfying thing in sport. But for the Cowboys, it just feels like a win.
Oh, a big win.
Like it feels like a win, and it actually feels like a loss was suffered by the Green Bay Packers because this was not what they expected. This was not what the vast majority of us in the media expected because of what we know that Coach was alluding to. Micah, the headlines, what he brings, what the Dallas Cowboy defense wasn't. Well, I don't know what they are. Are they good? Are they not? They were effective. And then Dak, what he was able to do, you got to be frustrated with the way you performed if you're Micah in that defense and you give up 40 points, you're not able to get pressure on the quarterback at all. It feels like a loss.
Yeah, no question it feels like a loss. And for the defense specifically, you had given up 4 touchdowns in 3 games, and then you give up 5 to a team with no CeeDee Lamb. That's just you put on the film, and it's where do you even go to get answers on something like that? That is one of the most shocking results of the first 4 games of the season. Any team.
Well, they did just lose to Cleveland last week. I don't know.
I'm just saying,
they
giving
were
up
8.5 point
40.
underdogs in that game too. So
you just don't think they're very good?
No, I'm not saying that. I just think as a young, immature team who had 2 great wins to start the season, when you start talking about going undefeated, you're just putting. It's just too much too soon, and you're losing track of what's most important, which is what's right in front of you.
Coming up, I love that sarcasm. That must have hurt. That must have hurt.
It stung a little bit.
You know what didn't hurt? Caleb Williams in the 4th quarter. He proved something. We'll see if he proved it to them, too. Coming up, FTF. Back in on First Things First. We pick it up in Vegas where, hey, look at that. Caleb Williams and the Bears won a game. Again. Don't let them get hot, Greg. Don't let them get hot. 2 in a row, 3 would be a winning streak. Go-ahead touchdown drive, late. Special teams helped out in a big way to the year of the blocked field goal. Here's Caleb Williams on what got him going before the game-winning touchdown drive.
Ben came over to me right before, and he goes, these are times that you're made for. So, it provided, belief and confidence that he has in me. And then from there, I went to the huddle and, looked everybody in the eyes, and, this is the moment. This is where we go win the game.
So it's a week-to-week league. Maybe they lose to Washington in 2 weeks. But I will just maybe. We'll see how it goes. They got the bye. The Commanders are injured. Let's not give them a loss yet, okay? It's in 2 weeks. My whole life, the Bears have lost that game. And I've seen so many coaches come in and say, we got to change the culture. Got to change the culture. You've probably tried to change the culture. You've been a part of teams where the coach is trying to change the culture. And that game yesterday, call it prisoner of the moment, anecdotally, they've lost that game my whole life, and there was just a buy-in across the board that things were going horribly for them. Cole Kmet's dropping passes. They've got an undrafted kid at left tackle and a rookie making his debut at right tackle. They 3 takeaways in the first half where they get the ball inside the Raiders' 25-yard line on all 3 of them, get no touchdowns, come out of it with 6 total points. Everything was going wrong for them, and they still figured out a way to win, and Caleb drove them down late, and that wasn't a perfect drive. Cole Kmet had the false start. That felt like something to me. I don't know if that's overstating it. I know the Raiders aren't great, but in terms of, they're buying into this being different, Coach, it felt different.
Yeah, well, maybe it's taking longer for Pete Carroll to change his culture than it is for them to change it in Chicago. What makes me happy for Caleb and for Chicago fans was the last drive. And as you said, it wasn't perfect.
It was not.
But he was able to orchestrate that drive. There were so many frustrating things during the course of that game where it felt like the same old Bears.
Yes, it did.
And this is 2 weeks in a row now where they've generated 4 turnovers, which is amazing, fantastic. So these games should be a lot more lopsided in the Bears' favor than they are. But that being said, to come out with a win as he continues to grow, that's a real positive. And every week he has in the system and every little bit of success, especially a drive like this, that builds confidence for the quarterback and it builds confidence in the quarterback, which is really positive.
Yeah, for me, he just simply proved that he can get it done. He can be as advertised. What you drafted him for, what you drafted him to be for your franchise, he can deliver in the clutch. And when you look at that last drive, the first play is when you come off the sideline and you get done talking to the coach, you're like, look, we can't take any negative plays. Can't have any negative plays. And let's get the drive started. He gets the drive started with the first completion to Swift, and then obviously the first down. You talked about the offside or the false start. They overcame that. He did that with his legs. Then he hits DJ Moore. He hits on Nduze. Like, he made every play that he needed to make on that drive. And it wasn't just one way. It wasn't just, you know what, I'm just going to use my legs. No, when he needed to throw it and he had a guy open, he was able to hit his guys. And when they needed to run it, they still mixed it up. They were still in a position where they could utilize their entire playbook, and it benefited him, but he could use his legs and use his skill set, and he delivered.
And I'll say this. There are going to be ugly moments this year because this is a flawed team.
For sure.
They still really can't run the ball. Hopefully they get better at that during the bye week. They gave up 240 rushing yards. And I don't really see much of a like TJ Edwards coming back maybe a little bit, but I don't see much of a solve for their run defense. So they might win some games that they're not supposed to win, and they'll probably lose some games that they're not supposed to lose. It'll be an inconsistent year. But I just am as convinced as I've ever been that he's the guy. Like, he's got it, and I still think his ceiling is the roof.
Yeah, even in the losses, there have been throws that you saw in college where you take a step back and you say, wow, that's really impressive. And there's been moments where he's been really impressive. And if he can continue to just take 1 or 2 mistakes a game out of the mix, and he doesn't have to get there right away. He can be slow getting there, but just a little bit of progress each week, and a few of those wow plays, and we're going to see, I think, what we anticipate to see at some point.
I know it's crazy, but his skill set still reminds me of the guy you played with. It does. He doesn't throw interceptions. He's got a rocket for an arm. He's willing to throw the ball down the field.
We know that's who we grew up watching.
He idolized Aaron Rodgers. He idolized him. He's a crazy athlete with a crazy big arm who doesn't turn the ball over. Like, I really do think his ceiling is MVP of the league. If he can figure out a way to play on time and not make, listen, he takes too many sacks. He misses layup throws that he shouldn't make. But I still think his skill set is upper echelon.
Yeah, it definitely is. And they're an offense that when you look across their offensive unit, like, they got guys now.
They've got a bunch of guys.
They got a bunch of guys. So you need him to be what we saw yesterday.
Yes, we do. The light show returned in Kansas City. I didn't think it was going to come back so soon. But now is it here to stay? We get into it coming up. Let's go to Kansas City. I'm going to have some of that barbecue that's still laying around Jack Stack. Delicious. Third rendition of the FTF Bowl. Nick and the Chiefs victorious yet again. Xavier Worthy's back. Mahomes, the youngest and fastest, to 250 touchdowns. Saw a glimpse of what was the Chiefs' offense from yesteryear, and they promised was coming back. The light show has returned. Here's Andy Reid on his offense from yesterday.
The speed was good, and Pat's got trust. He's developing. I mentioned that he's developing more trust in 5 and more trust in 80, and so now you add 1 into the mix who he's already got time with, game time. I think that's important. So I think that just kind of brought it together, and they fed off of each other's success there.
I thought it was noteworthy that the 3 highest yardage games of Xavier Worthy's career now are the last 3 games that he played. If you he's getting better, and he obviously makes an impact. Do you now expect this to be the offense? It's back, the light show?
I do because, unlike a lot of coaches, I think Andy Reid, what he does is he finds what you're great at, and he uses that to the offensive advantage, your advantage, and he puts guys in specific roles. And when a guy is not in that role, you're trying to fill that void with somebody, as he alluded to, that Patrick may not have trust in, and so it's going to look and feel different. The timing may be slightly off, and so I think this is what they're going to start trending towards looking like.
I mean, hanging a bunch of points on the Walking Dead. They've got 7 guys who weren't playing on the defense, so they're
what are they? The Walking.
there's four starters, and they put up points. And then last week the Giants, they've been struggling in terms defensively as well. So to say that this is the light show, I think that's and drop banners. I think that's a little bit presumptuous.
I don't have a banner.
Well, I'm just saying for a year.
They hadn't been putting up points on anybody.
For a year and a half, the offense has been in hibernation, and now they have one good game, and suddenly it's the light show, and maybe the night light show.
First game with 35 or more points since week 3 of 2023. First game.
Yeah, 2023.
That's a long time.
Patrick Mahomes,
I didn't see it coming. I did not thought any opponent. I didn't think the Chiefs' offense was able to do that right now.
And
I will give them credit for that.
He wasn't pressured at all. Like, we haven't seen him, and I get it. I understand that. But it just felt good to see it.
It did.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, and so, they got to do it against Jacksonville. They got to stack it and all of that. But prove to me that at least they still can do it, and now they're only 2 more games until they get Rashee Rice back. So you get Rice.
Didn't feel good to Baltimore.
No, it did not feel good to Baltimore, but in the context of the light show, it felt good.
Coach doesn't believe.
We got a Monday night doubleheader.
Chiefs.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.